Good afternoon everyone and welcome po sa isa na naman pong edition ng ating HR Cafe. And we are very excited with today's presentation dahil napaka-exciting ng ating guest for today. But before that, of course, we would like to greet everyone a happy Sunday. Paki-comment po sa ating comment section na inyo pong name. Tag your friends, let us know where you are watching from para naman po mabati namin kayo this Sunday afternoon dito po sa HR Cafe. If it's your first time joining us here in HR Cafe, syempre introduce po namin sa inyo ang ating mga program hosts. Medyo may mga personal errands lang po sila right now, but our HR Cafe Sunday na usapan is headed by Coach Darwin Rivers, a multi-awarded HR executive with more than 20 years of progressive leadership and management experience, having worked with top Fortune 500 multinational companies. He is also the founder and president of the Philippines HR Group, the largest Facebook group for Philippine HR professionals. He is also a certified life coach, public speaker, motivational speaker, and an HR consultant. Of course, we also have Mentor John Bernard Ordonez Caasi or Mentor Burns, who is an HR L&D practitioner and educator. He is known for his online content and as a radio broadcaster for Unboxing Catholicism podcast and FB Live. He is also a motivational speaker and financial wellness consultant. At syempre, hindi mabubuo ang atin pong HR Cafe kung wala po ang ating mentor Tina Coa, an operations and HR leader with broad local and international experiences. She is the general manager for retail company, an online content creator and blogger of tinainmanila.com. She is also one of the most active moderators and admin sa atin pong Philippines HR Group. Madalas niyo po siya nakikita nagko-comment dyan. And of course, I am Mentor Rona Florentino. I've been an HR practitioner for more than 20 years now. I've worked with different local and international companies. I am currently the president and CEO of Uprush Social Geekers. I'm a public speaker and an HR consultant. Ayan po. Kung nagtataka ba, ano ba tong HR Cafe na to na naligaw ako ngayon dito? Ang HR Cafe po is here to provide you with timely news and updates, impart knowledge and experience that are value-adding and beneficial, especially for our HR professionals, discuss problems, issues, and challenges, provide answers and resolutions with the help of our guest resource speaker, discuss new technologies in HR, tools and processes, as well as industry best practices, lalong-lalo na po para sa mga baguhan pa lang po sa HR. We are also a virtual job board. We do job-related announcements. So kung kayo po ay meron mga job openings, please reach out to us via our Facebook page. Send it to us para po ma-feature namin dito sa HR Cafe. We are here also to bridge understanding between employers and employees as well as provide inspiration and motivation dahil bukas ay Monday na naman at start na naman po ng isang work week. Ayan. Para naman po sa ating mga madalas ng tambay dito po sa HR Cafe. Syempre, hindi po mawawala ang ating session ng Wow Quote for the Week. Ayan, at ang ating Wow Quote for the Week po ay nanggagaling kay Josh Bersin. Ang sabi niya, in today's transparent job market, employment brand and employee engagement have become synonymous. Ayan. Medyo malalim-lalim. So ano po ang ibig sabihin nito? How does this wow quote for the week resonate with you? Lagay niyo po sa ating comment section. Again, huwag kalimutan pong itag ang inyong mga friends para ma-share ang learning for today sa kanila and let us know where you are watching from. Mentor Tina, ano po ang masasabi mo sa ating wow quote for the week?
I do believe that HR branding comes hand in hand. I was talking to our guest speaker the other day, and we mutually agreed that one of the most important things a business can do, lalo na even if you're a startup, is to hire properly. Right? So in order for you to hire properly, everybody wants to join a company that is good. Okay, good, a good company. Pero ang hirap-hirap talaga sometimes mag-compete with regards to salaries and compensation and benefits if yan lang talaga ang tinitignan natin. So very important kasi for any company, okay, more than sales, more than marketing their product is actually managing their people, lalong-lalo na dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi sa totoo lang, very emotional ang mga Pilipino. Right? We always, pag kunyari, motivated ka, ang sipag-sipag mo. Pag kunyari, napagalitan ka naman or hindi ka masaya, biglang tatamarin ka. As in really, like, when you analyze the labor market in the Philippines, productivity is heavily dependent on how happy that person is with their jobs. And happiness extends not just in the compensation, but more on how you treat your employees or how your employees perceive management to be. So in today's job market, wherein nandyan na yung Indeed, nandyan na yung Job Street, ang pinaka-importante is that the HR managers know how to brand the company properly. Kasi mga chismosa, mga Pilipino, nobody wants to enter a company that is a scam, 'di ba? Kaya nga marami tayong mga nakukuha sa PHRG is, legit ba tong company na to? Okay ba siya? Because if a company has too many bad feedback with regards to employee engagement, ang hirap talaga mag-hire for that company. In contrast, a good company does not have any problems in hiring. There are a lot of companies, isang position lang, thousands na ang nag apply. When that happens, you are able to pick from a lot of different choices and you will get the best from the best. But the only way you can do that is to engage your current employees properly. Because yes, pwede mong lokohin ng isang tao, dalawang tao, tatlong tao, but once that is already your reputation, it's really very difficult to hire. HR managers know this. It's not easy to hire when you're working for a bad company. Mababa na ang sahod, niloloko mo pa yung mga tao, 'di ba? Or hindi kayo nagbabayad ng maayos, delay yung payments ninyo. Ang dami yung excuse kung bakit yung SSS, PhilHealth and Pag-ibig hindi nababayaran. So very important talaga. We must also increase not just the branding of our products, but also the branding of our companies and how we handle our employees. And that is why today's topic is very important kasi we will really tackle on how a Filipino company can improve their HR branding, okay, without being internationally owned. Kasi a lot of people think, oh, gusto lang namin magtrabaho pag international company kasi mataas ang sweldo doon. No. Our guest speaker is from a company that is locally owned, managed for decades already. Sobrang daming brands they're managing. And while they are selling international goods, how they manage their employees is truly with a Filipino touch. Right? How about you, Ma'am Rona?
Ako, bago po ako mag-comment dyan, good afternoon muna sa mga nasa ating comment section. So, good afternoon to Sir Noel Duldulao. Good afternoon sa isa sa mga usual tambay natin, si Miss Mirna Cabanto. Good afternoon, Miss Mirna. Good afternoon also to M. Marlo is watching all the way from Subic Bay, Freeport Zone. And Ann
Oh,
Escudero, who is watching from Mindanao, 'di ba? Ang layo nang inaabot ng ating mga nanonood right now. So yung mga iba pa po diyan, let us know in the comment section saan po kayo right now para naman mabati po namin kayo. Now, as for the wall quote for the week, ako gone are the days when
mm,
employees or applicants base their yung capacity or yung kanilang the chances of them applying to a company, they no longer base it on how big the
no.
advertisement is kay Manila Bulletin. Dati nung bago pa lang ako nag-a-apply, mas malaki ang advertisement sa Manila Bulletin, mas may ano to, mas gusto ko dito kasi may budget ito. Dati ganun. But nowadays hindi na yan ganun. And the pandemic has actually also changed how we view mga companies. Right now, your applicants are very, very critical na kung saan sila nag-a-apply.
Mm-mm.
Talagang they analyze all of this. What can you give? What is the feedback? Right now, people really look into ano ba ang sinasabi ng mga current employees about this company. Ganun na ang tinitingnan nila ngayon, which means that how we engage our current employees will become our brand. If the
Mm.
employees themselves, the employees who are currently with us, speak well about our companies, about our company, the more they are likely, the more the applicants are more likely to apply to our company. 'Di ba?
Mm.
Lalo na ngayon, sa ibang bansa merong great resignation. Here in the Philippines,
Eh,
we haven't experienced yet great resignation, pero malamang-lamang yan pagdating ng January, February, magkakaroon tayo ng great resignation kasi nakuha na ang 13th month. when they resign, when they transfer to other companies, those are the things that they would look for. Ano ba ang sinasabi ng mga current employees about this company? Masaya ba sila? Okay ba sila? Gone are the days also that they look only on the salary. Yung mga
Right.
aplikante ngayon, they realize, one of the things that the pandemic has helped them realize is that salary is not a good measuring stick para malaman mo kung okay ba tong company na to. They now understand that mas mataas na salary, mas malaki ang responsibility. Now, ang question now is kung mataas ang salary at mataas ang responsibility, how is the company supporting the employees? Yun na ngayon ang tinitignan nila. So we have to be very careful how we engage our current employees. Yung iba sinasabi nila na, hindi kailangan ko lang naman yung mga empleyado ko magtrabaho. They will work, they will become engaged if you know how to engage them. Otherwise, wala. They will just hit the minimum requirements of the job. Hindi lalaki yung company nyo, hindi kayo mag-grow, hindi kayo magiging kilala dun sa ibang mga ibang aplikante. Recently may nilabas na list of companies na employees would want to work with or want to work for. Yung mga pangalan na nandoon, some of them are well known, some of them are actually not that well known. Mapapansin niyo na hindi kilala yung iba doon. And some of the bigger names in the industry, mapapansin niyo ay wala doon. Very few yung talagang kilalang kilala. Globe is one of the names na talagang naaalala ko nandun sa listahan. But some of the names there ay hindi niyo masyadong kilala. Bakit? Kasi yung mga aplikante ngayon, hindi na nila tinitingnan yung pangalan, tinitingnan na nila engagement. Yun na yung tinitingnan nila ngayon. Ayan. So sabi ni Miss Eka, employer branding now seems to tap creativity of their employees. Ayan. So totoo po yan. Company, sabi naman ni Miss Ann Escudero, some of the companies would invest for branding only to attract employees and clients. Pagdating sa employee engagement programs, less priority, less budgeted pa. Yan yung totoong scam in the workplace. There are instances na talaga yung mga companies, they put budget sa branding nila, ang gaganda ng advertisement, very
Mm.
visible sila, pero pagdating sa employee engagement, bagsak. Sayang lang yung budget doon, wala rin mangyayari. Ayan. So kayo po, yung mga iba pa po natin sa comment section, ano po masasabi nyo sa ating wow quote for the week? Put your comments dun po sa ating comment section. Let us know ano po ang naintindihan nyo at na realize nyo sa ating wow quote for the week. At habang iniisip nyo yan, syempre pa ang ating HR question for the week. Dahil malapit na naman po ang ating mga holidays. Ang tanong ng bayan, can employees refuse to work during holidays even if the company declares it as a critical workday? Naku, lalo-lalo na po sa mga BPO. Mentor Tina, ano po masasabi mo tungkol sa ating HR question of the week?
I'll defer the answer of this to you. My answer, short answer, quick and short answer is no, you cannot, especially if it is a critical work day. Now, a lot of people are complaining after sila tinanggihan sa leave applications nila. Ang tanong ko lang sa mga tao, hindi ba alam ninyo kung ano yung pinapasukan ninyo bago kayong pumasok? Right? Like the ability work life balance is something that you should heavily consider before you accept the job offer. Now, if you are working in a company that acts as critic that how do you say it that values time and attendance, then it's very important for you to think again if you're going to accept that job offer or not. For example of industries we're in medyo sensitive pagdating sa holidays, right? Is number one, retail. If you're working for a retail company, please do not ask your boss for a 2-week vacation pagdating ng December because it is the peak season. Same goes with if you're working for a restaurant, newspaper, 'di ba? Like if you're working for media, if you're working for BPO, if you're working for a factory wherein that product is very critical when it comes to December, right? If you already know what type of products it is and what constitutes a peak season, then take that into consideration before you apply. Same, tama si Eka Aquino, hospitality and tourism industry too. 'Di ba? If you're working for a hotel, okay, and then gusto mong magbakasyon on summer or like on December, then it's really difficult for management to explain to you kasi dapat alam mo na yan bago mo tinanggap yung trabaho. right? So something to take note to, because a lot of people always think it's just a compensation, it's a benefit. No, it's also the ability to take holidays when you want to, whenever you want to, and work life balance, because truly some industries talaga do not really offer that, and you have to be careful before accepting that job offer. Rona?
True, nako Diyos ko, palagi ko ini-emphasize yan. Iniisip kasi ng ibang mga applicants is that they don't
Oo.
have a say naman sa mga ganyan. Hindi po, bago kayo mag-apply, alamin nyo yan. Anong industry ba ito? Huwag tayong apply lang ng apply, tapos later on bigla tayong magre-reklamo na walang work-life balance, walang ganito. That's a very defeatist and very victim mindset.
Oo.
Ako
Yeah.
ayoko talaga pag merong ganyan na sinasabihan ko talaga na do your research, guys. Do your
Mm.
research. When you apply for a job, the process of application is not controlled by the company. It's up to you. You don't just
Mm.
apply kasi kailangan ko na po ng trabaho. True, kailangan mo ng trabaho, but is this something worth losing sleep over? Ito ba ito ba industry na to, kaya mo bang December papasok ka? Uh,
Correct.
yung holidays mo hindi mo may enjoy. Think about
Correct.
it. Think about those things. Hindi kayo basta apply ng apply. If you apply in a BPO company, i-expect nyo na yan, yung mga holidays na na-enjoy na ibang tao, hindi nyo may enjoy yan dahil meron kayong pasok. But on the
Mm.
flip side, pag meron namang holiday sa US, let's say you're catering to US accounts, pag may holiday sa US, kayo, naka-off kayo yung mga ibang tao, di ba? May pasok sila. Ikaw na-enjoy mo yung Thanksgiving, na-enjoy mo yan, pero ibang tao, may pasok sila. So, yun naman yung on the flip side. Now, if you work for a retail, expected na yan. Retail industry, itong bumubuhay, yung mga holidays na yan, yung mga summer na yan ang bumubuhay sa retail industry, sa hospitality industry, tourism industry. Yan ang bumubuhay kasi habang nagbabakasyon yung ibang tao, nagte-take advantage ng retail, hospitality, and tourism industry. Yun yung time nila time nila to shine. So, huwag kayo mag-expect na pag Pasko, pwede kayong biglang, boss, hindi ako makakapasok, itong mga industries na they would declare those days on or before the holiday, even after the holiday, they would declare that as critical work days kasi kailangan nila ng tao dyan. Now, the question is, can you refuse? If the question is, can you refuse? Anyone can refuse naman. But are you ready for the consequences of the refusal? Diba? Can companies mandate, can companies require you to report for work? Actually, oo. Meron sa batas natin, kung babasahin niyo yung ating book 3 ng ating labor code, may mga items doon na nakalagay that an employer can require you to work either overtime, rest day, or non-work day. They can require you to work on those specific days, especially kung kunwari yung kanilang operations ay mabibitin. Pwede silang mag-require na papasukin kayo. Ngayon, ang sinasabi lang ng batas, pag ni-require kayong pumasok, dapat merong karampatang
Mm.
kompensasyon. So, correct compensation for work done on a non-work day. Ayan. May mga ibang tao, alam mo, natutuwa ako sa ibang mga nasa retail na pag Pasko, bagong taon, ay tuwan-tuwa sila kasi alam nila double pay. So yung
Yes.
mga ganun talagang nag-uunahan sila na papasok ako na December 25, bahala kayo sa buhay nyo, basta ako papasok ako. May mga ganun tao. Meron namang iba na ayoko, I need time with my family. Guys, isipin nyo kung ano yung mas mahalaga sa inyo bago pa kayo mag-apply kasi ito yung mga requirements sa inyo. At kung kayo yung tipo na pag holidays, ay hindi ako pwede, yung mga kasamahan nyo sa opisina, maiinis sa inyo na parang, palagi na lang ito pag Pasko, bagong taon. Pumasok ako ng Pasko, siya hindi pumasok, tapos ayaw pa rin niya pumasok ng bagong taon. Kaiinisan kayo. So, think about all of this. Can employees refuse? You can refuse, but the repercussions, you have to be able to face that. The consequences of your action, you have to be able to face that. If you do report for work, additional compensation. That's something that you can expect. Pag hindi kayo binigyan ng additional compensation, doon kayo magreklamo, doon kayo magalit. Okay? But, di ba, sayang din yun, double compensation. Ako, kung bibigyan ako ng double compensation on December 25, di ba? Why not? Lalo na ngayon na wala ka naman masyadong mapupuntahan dahil meron pa tayong COVID, nakakatakot pang lumabas. So, di ba, might as well make the most of it. double pay. Sabi nga ni
There's
Eka, double pay is life.
sorry.
Ano sabi niya? Double pay is life kaya ang laki ng sinusweldo ko noong December kasi OT na po tapos holiday pa, o di ba? May mga ganun pag kayo ay talagang gusto nyo, especially for those who are just starting their career and you would like to build, you would like to save, ito yung magandang panahon para makapag-save kayo. Meron ako mga kilala na talagang tinotodo-todo nila yan. I've worked with a company before na pagdating sa mga holidays, yung aming mga tao hindi lang sila basta papasok ng regular holiday, kung merong overtime, sila yung unang-una sa pila. Kasi oo, alam nila magaling
Tama.
mag-compute tong mga to Alam nila na it's 130% of the 200%. So, ang laki ng kikitain nila. Ako talaga, papasok at papasok sila. Ayan. So, yun po. What about you guys? Ano po masasabi nyo tungkol sa ating HR question for the week? Ayan. Basta't may additional compensation, wala namang problema. Pero kung kunwari kayo po ay nag-refuse, tapos required talaga kayong pumasok, nag-refuse kayo, maaari po kayong mabigyan ng disciplinary action. There is a possibility for that. Okay? Lalo na kung valid naman ang pagmamandate sa inyo to report for work on that day. Ayan.
Mhm.
Iahabol ko lang kasi nga pala sa BPO industry, critical work day din yung day before at day after the holiday. So pag ganun po, pag nag-declare ang isang company ng critical work day, maaari din po kayong disciplinary action. Sa BPO, very common practice yan na pag hindi kayo pumasok on critical work day, magkakaroon kayo ng disciplinary action. Or if you file a leave on a critical work day, nire-reject yan, automatic, rejected kagad yan. Nangyayari yan sa BPO. So if you want to work in the BPO, those are the things that you need to be ready for. Okay. At ano naman ang sabi ng ating mga pinakamamahal na government agency? Siyempre, ang SSS po ay nangunguna. May magandang balita po ang SSS para sa atin pong mga pensioners. Yung schedule po ng pagre-release ng 2021 pension at 13th month nyo po ay meron na pong update dyan si SSS. Pinapaalala po nila ng inyo pong December 13 yung 13th month pension nyo po kung kayo po ay regularly nakakakuha ng pension at ang schedule po ng yung date of contingency nyo po is from the 1st to 15th of the month. I-release po ang inyong December at 13th month pension on December 1. So kung ang inyong pong date of contingency is anywhere from the 1st to 15th of the month, ang inyong pong December pension at 13th month pension will be released by December 1. Kung kayo naman po, ang date of contingency nyo is between 16 to end of December or the end of the month, ang inyo pong 13th month at December pension will be released by December 4. So magkaiba po ang schedule po niyan. Tignan nyo po ang inyong date of contingency. Ang date of contingency po ay nakabase sa inyong date of birth or sa date of death po noong member para po doon sa mga beneficiaries po ng death benefit. Or kung kayo naman po ay tumatanggap po ng pension as part of your disability, nakabase po ito sa kung kailan po kayo kung kailan po na-sustain yung injury or kung kailan po nagkaroon ng physical examination. So ganun niyo po i-determine ang inyong date of contingency. So if the date of contingency is anywhere from the 1st to 15th of the month, December 1 niyo po makukuha ang pension and 13th month. If it's 16 to end of the month, December 4 niyo po makukuha. Okay? Pag nag-avail naman po kayo, let's say hindi po kayo kasama doon sa mga regularly nakakatanggap po ng pension, nag-avail po kayo ng advance, 18 months na pension, December 4 po, i-release ang inyong 13th month na pension. Okay. At pinapaalala din po ni SSS kung ang ginagamit nyo po para makareceive ng inyong pension is a non-peso net bank. Sila po ay nakikipag-coordinate na and most likely ang inyong pong pension ay marirelease po not later than the 4th of December. If via check nyo naman po nakukuha ang inyong pension, nakikipag-coordinate na po sila with the Postal Corporation para maipadala po agad ang inyong pong mga cheque. So medyo maaga-aga po ang release ng kanilang 13th month for this year. Ayan po. At pinapaalala din po ni SSS kung kayo po ay meron na ng ating Philippine Identification ID or yung ating national ID, kasama na po yan sa standard list ng identification cards para po sa SSS transactions. Tandaan po natin na isa pong SSS sa mga talagang primary movers or party po para dun sa ating national ID system. Kaya talagang ini-encourage nila lahat ng mga members to have their Philippine ID para po pag may mga transaction kayo sa SSS, pwede nyo pong gamitin yan. So for those who are looking at getting the UMID, suggestion ko sa inyo, unahin nyo na si Philippine ID kasi mas malaki po yung benefits na makukuha nyo kay Philippine ID kaysa kay UMID. Ayan po. At reminder din po, kung kayo ay meron ng UMID or any ID, actually, hindi lang po ito sa SSS ID nag-a-apply, wag nyo pong dinidisplayan sa inyo pong mga social media accounts. Pwede po yang magamit for identity theft. So yung inyo pong UMID, even the vaccination card, Diyos ko po, ang dami ko nakikita nagpo-post ng kanilang vaccination card online. Yung inyo pong UMID, SSS ID, Philippine ID, kahit gaano pa kakaiba yung picture niyo sa Philippine ID, huwag niyo pong basta-basta ipopost yan. Huwag niyo po ipopost yung mga barcodes, yung mga passports niyo po, huwag niyo po ipopost yan dahil po pwede po kayo mabiktima ng identity theft pag yan po ay napunta sa mga maling kamay. Naalala niyo po yung mga bigla na lang nai-scam, nagugulat na lang sila na meron pala silang pagkalaki-laki ng utang kasi po nag-post sila ng ID at nagkaroon ng identity theft. Ayan. So ingatan niyo po yan. Lalong-lalo na't uso ang mga SIM swap ngayon. Ayan. Ano-ano ba ang nilalaman at kahalagahan ng ating UMID? Bakit hindi ito dapat dinidisplay? Ang ating pong mga IDs, including UMID, ay nagko-contain po ng ating mga personal information. So, yan po ay maaari pong magamit para mag-transact yung mga tao using our name, our information, but with their face. So baka magulat na lang po tayo na meron po tayong kapangalan at ang laki na po ng gagasta niya or nauutang niya, nakapag-loan siya ng sangkatutak using our identification. Tayo po ang bigla na lang kailangan magbayad noon. Huwag din po ipagkakatiwala sa ibang mga tao ang inyo pong my.uss username and password. Hindi po yan hihingin sa inyo ng SSS. Okay, so pag may tumawag sa inyo at sabihin taga-SSS sila, kailangan nila yung password nyo, huwag po kayong maniniwala. Wala naman po sila makikita sa aking SSS account. Wala po, sa tingin nyo, wala, pero tandaan nyo po nandun ang inyong address, contact number, email address, date of birth, buong pangalan. So yun pa lang po ay maaari na kagad ma-hack ang inyong mga accounts at makapag-open ng iba pang accounts using your name. So siguraduhin din po na if you're using a public computer, sa mga computer shop po, wag po kayong basta-basta nagko-close kagad ng tabs. Log out po muna bago i-close para masigurado po natin na hindi po yan na-open ng ibang tao. At higit sa lahat, wag din pong makikipag-ugnayan sa mga fixer. Ayan, sa Philippines HR Group may nagpo-post. Tutulungan po namin kayo na makuha ang inyong SSS username. Wag po. Kung kayo po ay hindi makapag-login sa my.sss, kung kayo po ay kailangan ng ID for SSS, transact directly with SSS. Matutulungan po nila kayo. Punta po kayo sa kanilang opisina sa pinakamalapit na SSS po. Kung hindi nagre-reply sa email, punta kagad kayo doon para kayo po ay ma-assist ng SSS. Okay, lalo na po ngayon, na level 2 na lang po tayo, yung ating po mga government agency ay mas marami na po mga tao sa kanilang mga opisina. Ayan. At syempre pa, ang proud na proud tayong Pag-ibig. Ina-announce po ni Pag-ibig, proud din po sila na sila po ay nakakuha ng 89% trust rating based on the 2021 Philippine Trust Index. They have been named as one of the most trusted GOCC. Ayan naman po. Kaya ngayon pa lang po ay ini-encourage po namin kayo, kumuha po kayo ng Loyalty Plus ID with Pag-ibig dahil napakarami pong benefits dyan. Isang buong booklet po actually ang ibibigay sa inyo ni Pag-ibig kasi ganun karami yung mga discounts na pwede nyo pong i-take advantage pag meron po kayong Loyalty Plus ID. At kung kayo po ay nag-iisip na mag-invest, consider nyo po ang Pag-ibig sa isa po sa mga pag-i-invest nyo dahil marami pong program si Pag-ibig para matulungan po kayong makapagtipid, makapag-ipon at pag nag-retire na ay hindi na po kayo mamomroblema. Ayan. Dagdag protection din po ang inaalay ni Loyalty Card Plus. Kung kayo po ay meron na pong Loyalty Card Plus ID, maaari po kayo mag-take advantage ng 8 benefit microinsurance package ni Lockton. Ito po ay sa halagang 120 pesos per year lang po. Kasama na po dito ang coverage for motorcycling accident, accidental death, accidental disablement, fire or lightning, natural death, unprovoked assault at hospitalization. Of course, huwag po natin kalimutan tignan ng terms and conditions ng pag-ibig kung ano po yung covered dito. Pwede po kayong pumunta sa kaagapayprogram.com in order to apply. Ayan po. At syempre pa po, dahil napakabait ni Pag-ibig, dahil sila ay isa sa mga trusted GOCCs, pinapaalala po nila na nagbigay po sila ng second chance para po sa mga naka-housing loan po. Kung kayo po ay remiss sa inyo pong pagbabayad ng inyo pong housing loan with Pag-ibig, meron po silang special housing loan restructuring until December 31 po ito. So open po ito for all Pag-ibig housing loan borrowers and installment buyers na meron pong 3 months of missed payments. More than 3 months po, hindi po hindi maximum of 3 months. More than 3 months po na missed payments, at kayo po ang account niyo po ay hindi pa canceled or foreclosed, pwede po kayo mag-avail ng housing loan restructuring 2. Scan nyo lang po yung nakikita yung QR code right now, or maaari po kayong pumunta sa pag-ibigfund.gov.ph/special HL restructuring 2. Hanggang December 31 lang po yan. So take advantage na po para ma-waive ang penalty sa mga hindi nabayarang amortization, maiwasan ang foreclosure at cancellation, at mapahaba po ang inyong payment term para po sa inyong mga dream homes. Ayan. Si PhilHealth din po, pinapaalala ang kanilang Community Isolation Benefit Package worth 22,449 pesos po. Community isolation. Pag kayo po ay home isolation, hindi po ito ang benefit ninyo. Ito po ay para po sa mga kailangan po mag-isolate at nag-take advantage ng mga community isolation centers. Covered po kayo up to 22,449 para po ito sa mga merong mild at asymptomatic cases ng COVID po. Ingat-ingat po tayo dahil may bago na naman pong variant ng COVID, si Omicron ba yung pangalan niya. So yun po, ingat po tayo dahil meron na naman po galing South Africa. So kung hindi pa po kayo nagpapa-vaccinate, pa-vaccinate na po. Marami nagtatalo-talo. Kung magpapa-vaccinate pa, mahawa ka rin naman. Ang iniiwasan po ni vaccination ay mortality. Hindi po kayo magiging superhuman, hindi po kayo hindi natatablan ng COVID. Maaari pa rin po kayong tablan, pero the risk of mortality, ang pagkamatay, ay hindi na po ganun kataas. So magpa-vaccinate po, starting tomorrow up to December 1, pwede nyo pong i-take advantage yan. Okay, bago
So,
po tayo pumunta kay El Puerto, papaalala ko lang po kasi naalala ko, madalas nagpo-post dito dahil December na po tayo, in a few days time. Yung 13th month pay po, Diyos po santo, open po yung package ni DTI at ni Dole for loans po sa mga hindi kakayanin na magbayad ng 13th month. Take advantage of that. Pwede po kayo mag-apply. Meron po kaming binigay. 2 weeks ago, nagbigay po kami ng link sa inyo kung saan kayo po pwede mag-apply ng loan para makapagbayad ng 13th month sa inyo pong mga empleyado. Take advantage of that. Back to you, Mentor Tina.
all right. So for our sponsors, we have our sponsor, our most loyal El Puerto Marina Beach Resort and Vacation Club. It is one of the options for you if you want to visit Pangasinan. They do have a resort in Boracay. So at least kahit na papaano, it's one way for us to relax and get away from the hustle and bustle of Metro Manila. There is a special discount given to PHRG members. So if ever you want to avail of that discount, please feel free to contact El Puerto Marina, inform them that you are a PHRG member to avail of that discount. Next. All right. We also have People Force and People Force as our sponsor, as one of our sponsors. So there is again a discount given to Philippine HR group. So there is 25% off for our members. So please look at the special code here just in case you want to avail of their services. Next. People Force as well is an integrated HRIS system that you can try. For PHRG members, you have a 2-week free subscription just to see what it is all about. So kung sa akin there is no harm to try, please find a way to at least try to subscribe for 2 weeks. And if it's good for you, then you can continue on. Pero at least free trial po siya for PHRG members. Next. All right, this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are now asking for HMO. But not every company has HMO. Just a reminder for PHRG members, HMO is not a mandated right beyond the PhilHealth coverage that everybody must pay for. So a lot of people are asking about what are the other options available to them. So what prepaid health cards is one of the better options for employees who want to cover people people who yung family members nila. For example, parents ninyo, kapatid ninyo, mga anak ninyo, you can really avail of a prepaid health card kasi it's one of the more cost-effective way to do so. So there is two. MaxiCare is one of our sponsors. So they have Prima Silver and Prima Gold. And with these prepaid health cards, you can actually ensure some sort of health coverage, at least for your senior citizen parents as well. So, ang kasama po dito, there's unlimited consultations that you can avail of and also diagnosis tests, which will be very helpful for somebody in the long run. Better safe than sorry. MaxiCare prepaid health card is one of the ways for us to protect without heavily investing in an HMO on a group setting. Lalo na sa mga small businesses and medium businesses na takot talaga na yung tao nila magkaroon ng COVID-19, magkaroon ng accident. There's a lot. Syempre, pag nagkaroon ng aksidente or nagkasakit yung tao mo, hindi naman po pwede na pabayaan mo yung tao na yun because as we've discussed, it's all about HR branding as well. And when your employees do encounter accidents and problems, it's better talaga that the company has something up their sleeves to provide some sort of financial assistance. Kasi at the end of the day, ang hirap din talaga bayaran pag kunyari sakit ang mga empleyado natin. So better to, if you cannot avail of the normal HMO, it's better talaga that you at least have a prepaid HMO card like MaxiCare. So there. So hello as well to Trisha J. Welcome to the HR Cafe. So thank you so much. I still hope that you are still here. If there's any questions, please feel free to contact either myself, Ma'am Rona, Coach Darwin, or Coach Burns for any sponsorship details. Remember, the HR Cafe is actually viewed by thousands of HR Filipinos, okay, here and around the globe. So if you would like to sponsor a show, please feel free to contact us. If you'd also like to post something that is relevant to the HR community, please also contact us for that. And lastly, for our HR Cafe this week, we actually have a very special guest, Miss Vanessa Japay, who is Generation X and raised in the North. Okay, she's a very, very, what do you call it? I'm so glad to actually invite her to be one of our speakers. Bakit? Kasi she's actually the senior HR manager for Philippine retail and digital transformation at the esteemed Primer group of companies. For many of us who do not know who Primer is, they do have over 55 brands in the Philippines. These includes our favorites Birkenstock, Herschel, Backjoy, Polaroid, Quicksilver, Roxy, DC, Osprey, Tumi, Jansport, North Face, World Traveler, Victorinox, Native, Polaroid, Hedgren, Delcy, Dr. Martens, and more. Okay? So, if pumunta ka ng mall, karamihan po ng mga retail fashion brands are owned by Primer Group of Companies. Now, she has been working for over 20 years in the field of HR, specifically in fashion retail and distribution, manufacturing, and manning industry. She will share with us her journey as HR business partner through her 20-year journey on the multi-branded, multi-generational Primer group of companies. Basically, she will share with us the real score of HR business partner. So, very excited kasi usually yung mga ganito, hindi sila lumalabas, medyo shy. But I told them it's very, very good, at least, kasi a lot of people outside retail don't know who Primer Group of Companies is. But chances are almost every one of you has bought one of their products and have it in your closet. It is impossible, almost impossible for a Filipino not to have brought their products. So ibig sabihin nito, hindi kailangan masyadong magyabang. This company has actually grown parang many folds, and yet it is still locally owned by fellow Filipinos. Let us welcome Miss Vanessa Romero-Japay.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me clearly, Tina? Is my audio
Mas
okay?
maganda pa yung audio mo and yung video mo kaysa sa aming lahat.
So,
Salamat,
okay.
salamat.
Very much.
Oo.
Okay, thank you so much, Vanessa, for joining us. Before we turn over the presentation to you for your PowerPoint, diba? We want to ask you, how many years ka na sa primer?
I'm running my 11 years now in January.
Okay.
Wow!
In one
Ito yung
company,
mga
right?
ano eh.
No, I've been with the other companies in the past, but my experience kasi is really more into retail distribution, manufacturing eh. So I guess my heart was really into this type of industry eh.
Mhm. So,
Yes.
mind you, mga nanonood sa atin, Miss Vanessa has been with Primer for over 10 years. And later on, we will ask her, bakit ka tumatagal sa
Ah,
Primer? Kasi a
True,
lot of
oo.
HR talaga,
True.
lalo na yung mga fresh graduates ngayon, di ba? They usually stay mga 6 months to 2.5 years on average. Retail is not an easy industry. As we've mentioned a while ago, December, walang holidays. 'Di ba? There's 65 days a year. There's only 2 days where sarado ang store, which is actually on Holy Week, right? Holidays, Sundays, may pasok. And not just may pasok, overtime pa. Mall hours is from 10 to 11, lalo na pag Pasko hanggang 12. And so many
Yes.
problems with regards to retail, lalo na sa IATF and pagdating sa DOLE kasi napakagaling nilang mag-inspect sa retail industry. Kasi pupunta lang sila sa mall, nandun na sila. Magtatanong na. So, really looking forward to your talk. All right?
thank you, thank you. It's
Okay, we'll just be in the background.
yes, it's really a pleasure to be here with you, to all of you. It's really my I'm really excited to share my experience to all of you, especially to the viewers. I cannot see you. Thank you for having me for your Sunday afternoon today.
All right.
All right. I think Tina has already given me a very good and very humble introduction of myself. So I guess just a quick run through. Yes, I was actually born in the North. I am Gen X. So kamusta po sa mga ka-Gen X ko dyan? So I am also rooted in an agricultural lifestyle. So I am belong to a family of businessmen. So this kind of industry is not so different from where actually I was being raised. So I have a family. So I have two children. One is 21 years old, and my youngest is 4 years old. And currently, we are residing in the south. So that's in Parañaque, a city. So I am with the HR for like over 20 years already. I'm a generalist by profession. And as Tina said, I came from Manning, I came from manufacturing retail, and currently now I am connected with the primary group of companies, particularly for Philippine retail and global distribution, and at the same time for digital transformation. As part of this big family in HR, a group of around 30 people. 30, yes, you heard it right. 30 people working all together for the success of Primer. And pandemic, not pandemic, we are all together, and this is a happy family, I would say. Okay, so I think so much for that. Let me quickly jump you with my topic for today. Please, Tina, for my next slide. How to be HR the previous slide, how to be HR and survive in a multi-branded world. When this topic was actually given to me, kinabahan ako. Sobrang kinabahan ako. I felt that masyadong matagal na, no? Masyadong matagal na yung journey ko. And here I am now. I need to recall and refresh my memory so that I could share to all of you. Maybe some of you also with the same company or probably with the same industry. And you know that this is a very challenging industry that I would say. So, however, while I was having my recollection of memory, suddenly it all comes back to me, and I become excited again. I am excited again that I thought that akala ko mahirap, marami akong makakalimutan, but then again, I said this is a great opportunity for me to share my 10 years experience or 10 years journey working with some of the world most recognized brands, lifestyle brands through the Primer Group. So I think in my slides you can see some of the brands, no? Sabi nga ni Tina, probably some of the brands are already in your closet. So probably Quicksilver, Roxy, DC, Columbia, Delsey, Birkenstock. So those are some of our brands. And thank you for those who are actually buying it and until now patronizing it for being our customers. But the question is, who is Primer? So what is this Primer? Ano bang ginagawa ni Primer? So I have prepared a short video for you to be able to see who actually Primer is. Roll VTR, please. Thank you for that video, Tina. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about the organization so that you would be able to know more about Primer. So Primer, as you can see in the video, was actually diverse into different type of industry. The biggest is the retail and distribution, which the one that you are actually seeing, the malls, with our freestanding stores, or whether inside the department store. So that is the biggest business of Primer. We have also the industrial group. I think probably some of our product was part also of your household. So shared services is also another business of Primer. Hospitality and tourism. So if you got to be excited to go out already after this long pandemic, meron po kaming ino-offer na accommodations also, no? So that is in Silang, the park, if some of you actually heard about it. So we are also engaged into hospitality and tourism. And not only that, dun po sa mga napagod at medyo gustong mawala ang kanilang stress after this pandemic, we have also a business engaged into beauty and wellness. So meron din po kaming ino-offer na services for you to feel that you are fresh again, okay? So Primer, true to its mission and vision, that is to bring the customer, bring the world to its customer. So Primer is actually committed to provide the quality goods and services. So yung pong ating mga magagandang brands, no, sa abroad, through Primer, nabibili po natin yan dito. No, hindi na po natin kailangan pumunta sa abroad, hindi na po natin kailangan na magbayad ng mga mamahaling shipping fees and all that. Primer actually bridged the way. Okay? And through the partnership of our local and international suppliers, and at the same time with the proper complement po of professional and competent people that have joined Primer, and at the same time, of course, with our founders who have actually guiding us along the way. I think Primer has gone its 35 years and recognized as one of the fastest growing retail and distribution in the industry that we are in. So how complex and dynamic in terms of the organizational structure or the organization that we are in. So just like probably some of you in this industry, so we are a group of companies, but I will just be speaking for retail and distribution because this group alone is so big already. So if you could see, I gave a little bit of an illustration. The retail and distribution is composed of several group of companies. So for this matter, I actually represented 5 group of companies. Doon po sa group of companies po na yan, meron po kaming mga categories, no, na working for this legal entity or for this group of companies. And these categories are in the representation of bags, action sports, travel, footwear, and so forth. And these categories, as we may define it, behaves the same. So in terms of all of our executions, branding, marketing, and so forth, they have actually some similarities in terms of concept and executions. And then here comes now the brands, the portfolio management, wherein we are dealing with a lot of leaders. So hindi po ganon din kadali, no? Because each category, you have to deal with different type of leaders. And this different type of leaders has their own DNA because they live with the brand, they're representing the brand, and the leadership style sometimes reflect the brand that they are handling. So not only that, how challenging retail is, aside from the fact that it is fast paced, no po, no, masyadong mabilis sa retail, especially for example right now we are on peak season, wala po talaga kaming masyadong pahinga, extended po yan ang oras natin sa tindahan, and kami po kahit po nasa HR tayo, lagi po tayong on standby. So yung pong aking pong mga kabaro na HR po dito po sa industriyang ito, saludo din po ako sa inyo, no, kasi po alam ko po yung puyat at hirap po ninyo. So very fast-paced po tayo at alam niyo naman po with the ever-changing customer needs, this industry or this group that we have is very demanding. It's very dynamic, it's growing, and sometimes it is actually the cause of a lot of pressures, challenges, and all of that. But the good thing is, kaya naman, no? Kaya naman. The only thing I think that I could probably share with you is that working in this type of industry really takes a lot of strength. Strength in the sense that there's a lot of people looking above you, and there's a lot of things that you need to inspire them and you need to motivate them. As you can see, there's also what we call the anatomy of retail employees. Masyadong maraming sinasabi dyan. But I think what the message that I would like to convey is that pare-pareho naman po tayo, no? Pare-pareho naman po tayo ng ating pong strategies in terms of recruiting people or finding the right talent. It's just probably some of the unique things lang that I would say that different from the others is in terms of how we live by, in terms of our culture and in terms of our values. Okay, so I think I'm ready for my next slide. So how to be an HR and survive in a multi-branded world, and that would mean attracting and retaining talent. I would share with you some of the challenges, no. So once upon a time, hindi naman kami naging ganito lang, no, na that you would see that we have grown so fast, and there's a lot of success stories already, and a lot of significant contributions that you might be hearing here and there. Once upon a time, we also experience a lot of challenges, and I'm sure that all of you HRs can probably relate. We have also problem in attrition. There was a really a great resignations back then, no? However, we try to be um, steadfast in terms of finding ways how to resolve all of these issues. So the management, the top management, and the leadership of the people in the management come together at nag-isip po sila ng mga bagay kung paano po mariresolve yung mga issues na yan. And therefore, I would say, right now, before even especially during the time of before pandemic, we could tell that we able to hit our target with a single digit attrition. So maganda po yung aming pong retention. So napakasaya po namin, no, that we was able to resolve the biggest problem of that organization back then. So we have a single digit attrition. We have a significant amount of tenured employees that is so important for us because these tenured employees are the ones that giving us sufficient number also of pools of SMEs and high potential employees. So our retention was actually really, really good in terms of our engagement, in terms of our hiring procedures. So all in all, basically the talent management strategies that Primer has actually invested on. But the question is, paano nyo ginawa? How did you do it? So, ganun lang ba yun? Like, recruitment process, talent managers, pretty general, right? So, what's so unique about Primer? So, let me offer you and let me share with you how did we do it. Actually, the secret formula of Primer probably is not something new to you. Meron din po kayo. However, this is something unique with us. So how did we do it? We enter and started a transformation journey anchored with our corporate culture, and that is strengthening our core values. Yun po ang secret formula of success. Why it's so important for us? Because it all started with the founders. And without these core values that they live on every day, I don't think Primer is here. I don't think nandito pa po si Primer. And during the time of pandemic, when it hits us so much, with having this in mind in all the things that we do, in all the decisions that the top management cascaded or created or implemented, siguro po we were not able to save a lot of jobs. Masaya po kami to tell the news that we did not have this massive layoff. We did not experience the painful incidents of people losing their jobs. And how do we do it? We look up to our I-step. Because if I-step or if our core values is actually there living each and every day, I think making decision is much more easier. So what is I-step? That is integrity, self-discipline, teamwork, entrepreneurial spirit, and passion for excellence. So this is just not something that you can see sa mga walls po namin, no? Hindi po siya po ay nasa ID or sa orientation. Hindi lang po siya nagtatapos doon. So there was really a big campaign. We realized when we start crafting it few years back that we need to strengthen our corporate values so that our people is aligned and unified in terms of all the things that they do, whether in store operations, whether in headquarters, or whatever functions that you do. It's always stepping up with our I-step. So let me just quickly run you through with our I-step. The first one is integrity. So integrity for us is something that you live by truthfulness. So we say that if the cracks is there, unti-unti siyang um, lumalaki, at pag lumaki siya, sira na siya, 'di ba? Integrity for us is being whole. We tell our people that during our town halls, we tell that during our meetings, we keep on reminding them during feedback that whenever they do something or they commit on something, they have to be clear, they have to be genuine, they have to be sincere. Because that is integrity. That's where your credibility would come in. So if you have this credibility and you value integrity, you would find value in the organization. And when you feel value in the organization and you feel that you are contributing on something, that's where retention would actually plays a big role. Because you see that you are contributing, you're happy. You are happy that you are helping. You are happy that you have been recognized because you are delivering results. And when you take into action, be sure that you don't overly commit but you don't deliver. So we always teach them that in terms of managing expectations, that they have to live by on just the level that they can do. And those gaps that they need to be coached on, or they need help, or they need to be guided, HR, the management, and of course, the team would be able to help them so. And the integrity also, in terms of attracting our talents, it also been shown with a lot of newsletters, social medias that you could see about Primer. So it's just being true, being transparent. So being with Primer, working for Primer, is about choosing the right thing even if nobody's looking at you. It's being consistent of what you say. It's being true to what you want to deliver. And of course, it's taking action on the things that you have actually committed. The second value is self-discipline. This is something that very also important for us for our growth. This is the defining moment of our growth. Why? Because self-discipline is something that give us a lot of controls, professionalism, and the way our dealings, our attitude towards our kaprimers. So we define each and employees. We define that if you're a kaprimer, this is the way to go. This is how you should react on certain situation, especially during conflicts. This is the way you communicate. This is the way how you treat other people. In primer, there's no ego. Because this is an open door policy, you would be given a chance to speak. So our people here, I feel very valued, whether what level of functions they are in the organization. During the time of pandemic, to ensure that the self-discipline still in the values and mind of our people, because our system doesn't work much during the time of pandemic, di ba? Kasi di natin alam, it's so uncertain. So we created the group, which is the crisis management group, to take care of how we should be behaving as an organization, as a business, and as an employee. This is one of the success also of Primer in terms of handling a crisis, handling the pandemic during the time of uncertainty. Self-discipline in the sense also of recognizing some things that actually beyond our imagination before our term here, serving as an HR on some reasons of why people are leaving. People left sometimes because now of this mental wellness, so we include it into our campaigns and programs on how to behave, how to support them in terms of these challenges, because this is something new to us. So we also discipline ourselves, understanding that mental wellness is true and this is really happening. Self-discipline also in terms of providing and promoting the importance of vaccine, because you are working with team. You have to be conscious also with the health and wellness of the person sitting beside you or sitting behind you. So there's a lot of efforts also in terms of what should a person do in times of this situation that we have actually experienced. During the time also of pandemic, there are a lot of changes that actually challenge us. There are some functions that actually has more activity, and there are some function that has low activity. So for some, maybe those who actually low activity, they put them for low. Some of them, they lay them off. Some of them were um, probably separated for one reason or another. In primer, there's a different approach. We discipline ourselves. Even the management discipline themselves in terms of what are the things that we can do to help this individual to pivot themselves and to find value again in the organization. The people that we hire in primer is should be someone that has passion for learning. That's a first thing that we look whenever that we hire. So if you have that passion for learning, roles and responsibility will just follow. You're gonna be open to the different types of things that you can do to find your value or to find a new contribution to the company. So that's another way of showing discipline, that the openness. We pivot you. You have to learn. You have to step up. You need to cooperate in terms of business recovery. So that's how we do in terms of retaining the people that we have, especially during the pandemic times. The next one is letter E, which is the entrepreneurial spirit. Oh, teamwork. Sorry. So teamwork is something that is not so new to us. So we have all that in most of your core values. What is so different and so unique with the primer group is we start this even the time that we onboard candidates, because we know that an onboarding experience is also a good employer branding. Because if people would have these words came out in the world or in with their friends or with the people that they know, that the onboarding experience is exciting, the onboarding experience is effective, this would be a very good branding for primer. But how does teamwork came into that picture? In the onboarding for primer, we have this so-called travel buddies. So from the time pa lang na ikaw ay in-onboard at ikaw ay in-hire, you have already someone that you can talk to. Napakahirap kasi minsan, di ba? When you are hired in an organization, wala kang kausap, wala kang kilala, hindi mo alam saan ka magtatanong, napakahirap ng ganon. And sometimes we experience fallouts already from the people that we hired. Sayang naman yung oras natin, no, to hire people, and tapos aalis lang din naman sila. So from the onset, may teamwork na. May kasama na siya. And then when we assign projects, we make it sure that you have someone also as a buddy. So on our project management, it's always a team. It's always a team of different expertise that they can contribute to the success of particular project. Teamwork also would mean recognizing the accomplishments of the group, especially the people in our stores now. They have pivoted. They have learned new ways to adapt with this never-ending customer needs. So they are now in social media. They are now in TikTok. They are now in Facebook. A lot. Before, no, they just sell there in the freestanding stores. But now they come together, think of ways, they do live selling, and it's just proper to recognize them with the teamwork that they have done to the organization. And that would bring us to a next level of business recovery. Another thing is also helping those who were been affected with crisis. During the time of pandemic, hindi lang naman po pandemic, right? Meron pong mayon, meron ding typhoon, left and right. But primer, is actually through its commitment of teamwork and helping our employees through a lot of ways. And the recent one is the Primer Community Pantry. And I think we are all familiar with the Primer Community Pantry. So we pull our resources, send it to our people so that they know and feel that we are there for them. We care. So that these people would see that even if in the time of crisis, we are still here for them and show them that they are also important and valuable for us. Okay? So another strategy that we did for our core values is entrepreneurial spirit. So entrepreneurial spirit is something that when you are a primer, we encourage that you also think the same way as the owners. So having entrepreneurial spirit is about igniting the spirit in your heart to have this malasakit in all ways. But having that kind of spirit igniting in you, it should be already there. So whenever we do hiring, we always find that portion that you are an entrepreneur, a small, growing entrepreneur someday to be part of a big picture of success for the organization. So we revamp the candidate profile that we are hiring. We experience that. We align the candidate profile with the changing needs because primer is so fast-paced. Before, okay lang kung hindi ka masyadong digital savvy. But now, you should be. Dati, okay lang if you're taking time to understand and analyze things. But now, kailangan mabilis, critical thinking. Kung dati okay lang that you can just articulate and communicate, but now you should have a vast range of vocabulary. And has no discrimination in terms of age. So, merong mga newly grads, kaming mga hinahire, even if they don't have experience, that is okay. But when we see that the potential of entrepreneurial spirit is there, that's a good thing for us. That's the person that we want. That's the person that we wanted to retain. So that's for hiring. So in order for us also to have a lot of pools in the organization in terms of the vacancies that we wanted to fill in, we are also very aggressive with our internship program. Why? Because people talk, people learn with the experience that they got. So this internship that we have is something that a good employer branding for us to hire more and attract candidates that who wanted to join Primer. Ganito pala si Primer. Ganito pala ang ways of work nila. Gusto ko dyan magtrabaho. So it's an advanced step for us in terms of having pool of talents in the organization. Entrepreneurial spirit for us also is about adopting in terms of, for those OD practitioners here. So the challenge for us is looking at what are the other things that we need to do to support the business on the changing times. We have experienced that we need to create a lot of groups. And for one example is a digital transformation group to bridge the gap of learning, expertise, and functions that we need to fulfill in order to respond to the e-commerce, to the social selling, and all of that. Kasi dati hindi naman kailangan, add-on lang siya. But when the pandemic came in, everybody needs to learn. So we need to take the risk. So having entrepreneurial spirit is about taking risk to invest into another. And then if having or taking some risk would have a proof of concept. And that proof of concept is being replicated. Entrepreneurial spirit also for us is about having some brand ambassadors for the company. So we develop brand ambassadors, whether internal or external. Internal, it's so easy. So because they're already there. But interestingly, brand ambassadors sometimes came from our exposures to different campuses. So we engage also in terms of our recruitment strategies or recruitment marketing strategies in terms of finding who has the potential to be our brand ambassadors through gamification. Okay. And I think the last one would be the letter P, which is the passion for excellence. Passion for excellence for us is something that ignite our engagement. So this is more of our wins. This is more of our listening to our people. This is about hindi pwedeng okay na. So as an HR, of course, retaining people is about listening to them, giving value to their feedback to our regular employee satisfaction. And from whatever the feedback and all, we align our processes, benefits, compensation, structures. So we give value to their feedback. As I have said, primer, one of the criteria of we're looking for a candidate is the passion for learning. Because in primer, they are very committed of giving you a lot of improvements through learning and development. So since now, because of the pandemic, we are so focused with business recovery and to improve our business, we invest a lot of learnings to give our people to be certified, actually. To be certified in Google, to be certified in Facebook, social selling, management, and all of that. So Primer is actually fostering learning and development, and we share that commitment to our employees, especially to those who are actually interested to step up from their careers. Another thing is that Primer has its own academy. So sa amin, pag dumating ka, wala kang experience masyado at interesado ka magtinda sa tindahan, okay lang. Hindi kami takot. Why? Because we have our own academy. We said that because we have so many brands already, we have so many stores already, we wanted that they behave the same, their customer service is aligned or the same. So it's standard. So through this academy, which is Apex, so we put a structured way of imparting the learning how to be a retailer, how to be a customer service associate. But that doesn't stop from there. We also have some programs to enrich their knowledge also to climb up the career ladder. So hindi ka habang buhay na SA. I think that's something that we really wanted to encourage every one of you. They also have ambitions. They also have career aspirations. So let's facilitate, let's help. So for learning and development, so we have a ladderized learning and development skills or learning and development program for them to enrich their skills. And through that, we were able to help them to become area supervisors one day or area managers someday. Then we retain them. They contribute more. They're happy because they're growing with Primer. We facilitate all of the tools. We give them the opportunities. The challenge is, are they ready to take that challenge? Good thing, they're all still here. As I have said, one thing that the reason why we have a lot of significant tenured employees is simply because they see that they are growing with us. Okay, so that's iStep. So I think to synthesize that, for my next slide, Christina.
I step forward to uphold the truth and promote trust.
I step over obstacles to stay focused and deliver results.
Step aside to preserve respect and harmony.
I step in to grab opportunities to grow.
I step up to build a legacy.
Thank you for that, Miss Tina. So that's a transformation of primer. Do I still? Yes, just to summarize it, how do we attract the future talent of Ka-Primer? First is a strong employer branding. We hire for the tribe, so similarity that is anchored with our corporate values, our I-step. We know what we stand for. So in terms of our onboarding, orientation, and so on and so forth, so we ensure the attitude, the behavior is actually aligned to the things that we do. It's a two-way street. So whenever we are engaging with the talent, we ensure that we give them a lot of preview. How is it like working here? We let them talk to the future team members or leaders that they will be working on before they make decisions in joining Primer, because mahirap magkamali, mahirap magsisihan, no? So we also adapt the sandwich strategy. We give them the good, and then we somehow give them the challenges, and then we back it up again with the good. And then let's see how the talent will react. Bond. The important is bond. So another branding of Primer is work that lets you play. In Primer, learning is not only inside the building. We go out. We have a lot of immersion. We have camping. We learn how to use the tent outside. It's something that really excites people. And because of that, we were being recognized as top 100 graduate employers. Just to give you a little bit of a background, the employers that have been recognized for this type of award is those who actually have a quality onboarding, talent attraction, retention for the newly grads employee. So something like ikaw yung pinipili na kung saan sila magi-immerse, magi-intern, and then the game is actually on your court. So you have the tool, you have the pool now, so it's really up to you how you're gonna get them. So that's the challenge. And of course, in terms of our branding, so I think it's pretty known to everyone that a lot of the recognition has been given to Primer because of its never-ending efforts. So how to be an HR in Primer? So I think to summarize it all for my last slide, I guess. So values, people, which is our critical ingredient also for success, and finding your purpose. Fostering a positive change through learning, research, and innovation. With that, I would like to greet everyone with advanced holiday. I think this is one of my most important slide. The next slide. Miss Tina, please. I would not. There you go. Happy holidays to everyone. Kung wala pa po kayong naiisip na bilhin ngayong Christmas, pwede po kayong bumili sa aming pong mga e-com channels. So these are the platform that we have, no? Bratpack.com, rox.com, at maging masaya po tayo ngayong happy holidays. Okay po, so maraming salamat po sa opportunity na ito. I hope that was able to impart interesting things for you, and I hope that you would be able to use it also in your organization. I can be available to you anytime. So thank you very much, Miss Tina, Miss Rona, for this opportunity, and for all of the viewers today. Thank you.
Nakamute pala ako. Thank you so much, Miss Vanessa. Ayan po, hintayin lang po natin si Miss Tina. Pero thank you so much for gracing our afternoon. Natuwa ako sa sinabi mo kanina about yung yung gustong-gusto kong sinabi mo is yung entrepreneurial spirit at saka yung willingness to learn. I think those two things are very important, especially if you would be working in a retail industry. Yung willingness to learn, actually applicable siya sa lahat ng industry. If you are willing to learn, ang daming opportunities na mag-open up for you. I am sad that there are people na lagi nilang sinasabi na kung ano lang yung trabaho, kung ano lang yung sweldo mo, yun lang dapat yung level ng trabaho mo. But in reality, hindi yun ganun eh. Kasi if you only work doon sa kung ano lang yung sinusweldo sa'yo at you don't exert extra effort, hindi ka mag-move forward. Kasi bosses, yung mga supervisors, your managers, company owners are always on the lookout for people who are always willing to extend or go the extra mile. And for you to go the extra mile, you have to be willing to learn. Learn new things, learn new tasks, acquire new skills. I hope that's something that our audience right now would really pay particular attention to para mag-grow sila dun sa kanilang mga career. And be like you, Miss Vanessa, you've been with them for 10 years. Sobrang hanga ako sa mga taong tumatagal. How to be you po, doon sa area na yun.
Maybe we can make that our first question, right?
Ah!
Remember, you've said that a lot of people have very long tenure, right? And you pride yourself in actually keeping good talents, more or less, about good talents inside. So the attrition rate is at single digit numbers, percentages. What's the lesson there? What does Primer do ba to keep good talents?
Um, Two things. I would
Mm.
probably, I would say very significant. The
Mm.
first one is a culture of learning. I would not
Mm.
discount that. I would not discount that. It's really the culture of learning, not just classroom. You see,
Mm.
if you have passion for learning and you wanted to grow,
Mm.
whether here or sa iba, 'di ba? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sabi nga nila, pag when you came from primer, tapos you apply for other company,
Right.
madali na lang. Because our processes, our structure is kind of unique also and very challenging. So kung na-survive mo dito, malamang you would be able to be successful uh, to the
Right.
other retailers. And then second siguro is the reason why I stayed or people stayed here is the I think I was able to explain it. They find value of what they do. Yan, importante siya. So, you find value what you do, you contribute, it boosts up your morale. You have this certain self-esteem. Like how would you discount, for example, even if you are belonging into a entry level organization, you are, for example, you are a newly grad, right? You are a newly grad. Tapos in here, you are to have this passion for learning. You learn, primer help you to learn, you grow. How could you not recognize? How could you not be appreciative for that kind of opportunity? So I think that's the reason why people or talent like me in primer and for those who have actually stayed here, stayed because of the opportunity that has been given to us.
Just to give people a background, kasi Primer owns a lot of different brands inside the mall. So talaga kitang-kita talaga yung company itself in terms of the brand. I'm also in the retail industry and I know Primer, right? Kasi a lot of the people who don't survive at Primer, they actually come to us then to interview eh. And
Ah,
we know, 'di ba? I mean kasi ganun, retail to retail lang talaga, hindi ba? And usually, Primer is one of those companies talaga na meron silang very systematic training program. It's really, there's a culture within Primer that builds up performers. So if you, tama yung sabi ni Ma'am Vanessa, pag tumagal ka talaga sa Primer, you already embody several qualities na, for example, like integrity, self-discipline, how good customer service, na usually mahirap pang ituro pag fresh grad lang. It's not that easy to get. So when you hire somebody from primer, parang more or less ready to go na talaga yung tao sa pagsaserve sa benta. So that's the reason why, for example, a sales associate in primer, a supervisor in primer would often apply for a higher position in a different retail company elsewhere. Okay, so for example, SA ka sa primer, if you're gonna apply, you're not gonna apply for SA in another brand. You're going to apply for store supervisor. If you're a store supervisor primer, you're probably gonna apply for an area supervisory position. That's how primer is. Now a
Yeah,
lot
thank
of
you for
people,
that
diba?
recognition. Yeah.
And then a lot of people who leave primer as well, parang when they get out of primer, they realize that the culture that primer has is very specific to primer. So pag lumabas sila, pumunta sila sa ibang retail company, naninibago sila. Because primer is a very specific culture. Medyo cliquish, but ang mga tao doon, yung mga taong magagaling, mga gwapo, at may konting kayabangan. Hindi, totoo, totoo. They feel there's a little bit of pride in being part of primer. And when they leave the company, they realize, iba pala yung kultura sa ibang company. Hindi pareho and they feel not as comfortable. Kasi in primer, pag kunyari mga kasama nila, meron silang kabarkada, yung people that they feel may same wavelength, same interest, same type of group. Pag alis nila, hindi pala lahat ganun, iba-iba. And sobrang naninibago talaga sila. So that there's a lot of people na umalis sa primer, namimiss ang primer, bumabalik din sa primer. Right? Kasi
Yes, yes,
talaga, it's a different
absolutely.
type of culture siya. Pero ma'am, I want to ask you with regards to integrity and self-discipline, diba? Which is part of your I step. You
Yes.
mentioned you look for integrity and self-discipline in your people. For many HRs, gusto namin yan. Paano namin ma-integrate yung system namin? How do we revise our system so that we can focus on only attracting and keeping people with integrity and self-discipline? Kasi ang dami nag-a-apply na mabola. Diba, pagpasok, honest ako, masipag ako, tapos pag nag-start na, tamad pala. How do you guys actually, what's your system in order to attract and to retain people with integrity and self-discipline?
Okay. So that's actually that's a challenging question, no? Kasi ang daming areas ang daming
Correct,
areas no, saan namin tinitignan, no? First one is okay, let's talk about attracting na hindi pwede yan sa primer. Okay, hindi ka pwede
Right.
mag-apply pag ganyan. Let's siguro
Yeah.
let's put it that way. Attracting. In primer kasi they know that we have a very a good compliance procedure structure in manghuli ng mga ganon. I would say. So I think I don't know how
Bullshit meter. Bullshit meter. Hindi ako
So-
makapasok kasi namatay yung lola ko. Diba?
So it means that they know that our system is very strong. So, hindi ka pwedeng babasta-basta. Kasi mahuhuli ka din sooner or later. So, hindi ka pwede. So, that's the way of attracting that only the good one should apply. Kasi mahuhuli ako dyan. Hindi pala pwede yung diskarte ko dyan. Yan. So, another thing is, alam nila that the people who are actually managing, for example, our store, are the old ones. So, hindi mo na sila maluloko, right? So, alam na, and then tenured yan, skilled yan. So, alam nila din kung paano mag-implement ng proper procedure. That's for attraction. Now, your question is about how do we how do we instill that there is
Yes, that culture. Of
that culture.
integrity and self-discipline.
Yeah. We have a regular touch base with all of our sales and operations. For example, kasi dyan lang naman talaga marami, no? Marami. In their meetings, in their sales rallies or events or whatsoever, we campaign. We always campaign. We always remind them. So, we always instill to them the importance of our values. Now, yung talagang hindi mo maiiwasan. Yung talagang mga meron pa rin naman talaga na hindi tinablan. Okay?
Lalo na
Meron
ngayon.
ganon.
Lalo ngayon.
Lalo ngayon.
Pandemya, maraming kulang. Oo, correct.
Meron pa rin ganon. Lalo galing sila sa pandemya and all that, ganon. So, we convey a message that even the, us, integrity, di ba? So, we are truthful with our policies and procedures in due process. So, what I'm trying to say is that we discipline. We are firm in disciplining. Of course, no, with the right way of disciplining. At kung matigas ka pa rin talaga, at meron din naman talagang ganon, so you know already where we're gonna meet next time. Yan. So, pero bihira naman yon. Bihira naman yon. So, nakukuha naman sila dun sa 1 and 2, Miss Tina. So, what I'm trying to say is a system, I really agree, system first, then the people will follow. The people will follow.
I think it's worth noting din yung sinabi ni Miss Vanessa na they keep on, kumbaga, they would usually remind them, regular yung reminders. I think that's an important part. Kasi sometimes, may mga HR na they feel, once they have all of these values, it's posted on the walls, they have cascaded it, nag-stop sila doon. Wala na yung constant reminder na, these are our values, these are the behaviors that reflect those values, these are the accepted na behavior within our organization. If you stop kasi that, people will just see those values on the walls and then wala na. So
That's
kahit
correct.
sabihin mo dyan na, integrity, okay, hanggang ganun na lang. Walang constant reminder, walang system to also keep yung check and balance, to check if things are going as planned. Kung wala yun, wala, mag-fail siya, and you'll have a lot of problems when it comes to integrity. I think that's something that's worth noting.
Yeah, and I think I also forget to mention that one thing is also we celebrate wins from the iStep. So we recognize naman din those who have actually significantly expressed as a role model on the organization. So as I have said, these are not just decorations in the wall. Sometimes we keep on thinking of a lot of strategies, a lot of initiatives. Ang dami, no? Minsan may budget pa. But we tend to forget, andyan lang siya sa mga walls natin, nakadikit lang. Walang budget na kailangan. Diba? Walang masyadong budget na kailangan. We just really have to, know the people and then align your programs according to or anchored to your corporate culture.
All right, Miss Vanessa, we said. Very informative, Miss Vanessa. Thanks for sharing. I personally observe in your store personnel, magaling talaga sila sa sales. No wonder Primer Group has gone a long way. That's true. They're very well trained. Ma'am, matatapos na tayo dapat sa pandemya. And I know there's over 50 companies in the Primer Group. There's a lot of levels, there's a lot of employees. You mentioned before na hindi kayo masyadong nag-retrench. Could you walk us through that journey kung paano ninyo, despite the lower sales, you were still able to keep your manpower, and what was the reason behind it? Kasi I think management took the extra step to keep all of these personnel. Kasi so many companies are cutting headcount left and right because this is the best time to do so.
Yes. This is a sharing that's gonna be very close to my heart, no? Because HR is very how would I say naging involved talaga sila, no, sa pag-implement nitong strategy nito. So what did we do, no, para wala kaming ma-retrench? Remember from one of my slides, I said that because crisis kami, ang daming mga tightening ng belts na ginawa. Tapos sabi namin, in making decision, magre-retrench, hindi magre-retrench, magtatanggal, hindi magtatanggal. So, as I have said, iStep is very important to us because it makes our decision easier. Kasi yung mindset namin, paano ba? Like that, ganyan. But you see, we pivoted their roles. Specifically, we pivoted their roles. So, yeah. So, since we hire people who are passionate for learning, it's not difficult for them to be open to get another role that during the time of pandemic source out to be would have more activities than the rest.
Mm.
For example, ikaw yung employee na hindi ka masyadong maraming activity, and then this group would have more activity, you transfer there. So we move people, basically. We move people, we make them significant there. So kung hindi mo alam yung gagawin doon, tinuruan ka namin, pinadala ka namin, sinertify ka pa nga namin eh. So, malaki ang pasasalamat nila. Kaya nandito pa rin sila sa amin. So, yung mga okay lang kahit hindi mo alam. So, primer is a very good in sharing tools and learning. So, I hope with the other viewers right now, I would suggest that you intensify your learning and development learning and development opportunities for them, because in the times of like this, when system, procedures, policies would not work because of a level of uncertainties, the only thing that will survive is that the people, diba, people lang. So kung open sila, hindi sila masyadong mapili, sabi ko nga, sa gagawin, would you mind to do a role that is something na you can do now for you to keep your job? 'Di ba? Dapat hindi, 'di ba? So importante nung pandemic may trabaho, 'di ba? So that's the entrepreneurial pa rin. You have to take the risk. Take the risk. Hindi naman natin alam kung matagal 'di ba? So wag lang munang mapili for now. Importante may trabaho. That's why we did not retrench. We pivoted them. Refocus
Sa
them.
sa retail industry kasi we share in the same industry, it's very important that the staff knows how to follow leadership and instructions. That's one of the factors in choosing and keeping talents. So for example, when we tell people what to do, there is already that innate trust in leadership and management kasi we've been doing that for the longest time. So even with the pandemic, hindi takot ang tao mag-pivot because sanay na sila sa pagpa-follow ng instructions, because if you're managing 50 brands, 50 different companies, 50 different groups of culture, hindi pwede lahat ng tao may opinion. Everybody must still follow the core culture of that brand. Either you follow or you stop kasi hindi talaga pwedeng mag-VIP sa bawat brand. Otherwise, parang magulo na, 'di ba? If you ask everybody, anong mas gusto mo? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to stay there? Then everybody will have an opinion, and how are you going to manage all of these people? Pero if people trust management implicitly na may good faith talaga, I'm doing this because I want you to keep your job, and they believe management because they have believed management in the past and they've never been let down, then it's a lot easier to pivot in management in a pandemic or in a crisis. Pero Miss Vanessa, you've talked to us about learning and training. Can you share with us your training program? Kasi I heard that's one of the basics. At least kahit na papaano yung icing on the cake. How do you guys train
Okay.
ba? Lalo na sa mga taong like fresh grad.
Oh, I did mention to you that Primer has its ladderized training program, no?
Yes.
So, meron kaming specifically for the brand management group, and we have
Oh.
a different training program, a ladderized training program specifically for the channel management group. Channel means store. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay lang. Kahit nga new grad ka dumating dito. Kasi tadaanan mo lahat siya. Kasi, in primer kasi, we believe that even if you have experience from other companies, pag dating mo dito, zero pa din yan. Zero pa din yan. So, no ego dito. No ego. No? So, you have to do the 101s. All of the 101s. You have to undergo the 101s. So, after
101.
that,
What's 101s?
the basics. For
Okay.
example, you are hired as a brand manager. Manager ka na, but you have to undergo the basics first.
Which
Basics.
is?
Which is, for example, this is quite preparatory, Tina. So it's you're putting me.
Hindi, keep it general. Keep it general.
Okay, so about finding markets.
Okay.
One, finding markets. Consumer marketing, perhaps. So there's a lot of modules that you need to undergo for the basics. Same thing also for the merchandising. So the planning part, creating strategies. So same thing also for the marketing. So they have different. So it's very modular. Very modular. You have to undergo that. We need to incubate them for some time until they are ready. Same thing also for HR. We're not the type of hiring people, HR, and then after that, yun yung sakit ng damdamin ng ibang HR, no? Pag hinar ka, deploy ka agad, right? No, in here, no. You have to be incubated first and learn the 101s. The 101s are the policies and procedures. You have to learn that. Because how would you build your credibility leading the people if you don't know all of these things, right? So again, integrity. So in all functions that we do, people listen to us even during the pandemic. Why you need to be pivoted? Why it's gonna be the chosen role? They never question. They just obey because the people that who are actually talking to them, they feel has the credibility and has the integrity.
I have
So
I have a question. Kasi I am amazed dito sa system that you have. And I'm not sure if you have mentioned this earlier. How were you able to build all of this system na talagang lahat ng moving parts are all on the same page? Kasi di ba, parang it's hard eh. And it's a challenge for most HR. You might have a ladderized training program, pero more often than not, it exists in a separate sort of world compared to your values. Ganun yung nangyayari sa ibang mga companies eh. We have these values, but when you look at it from yung big picture, hindi talaga sila
Connected,
hindi sila
yeah.
connected. 'Di ba yun yung nagiging observation ko. How did you make sure yung all of these systems, all of these moving parts are all in working together or all in the same page? Paano niyo nagawa yun?
Rona, siguro I would like to give credits first to the creator of this culture or these values, no? I would like to give credit to the founders because they're the ones who personally have this bright idea that this is the formula of success. Diba? So without them, for example, how would you comprehend if our founders would not have teamwork or don't have discipline, right? So if they make decisions, magsisisihan sila like that. So mali, ganyan. Because we have five partners, we have five owners. So hindi rin naman madali yung, di ba? I mean, I'm sure they're dynamics to each other. So the first one is we give credits to them because we see it to them and they are all friends. And when you are friends, walang tapakan, walang ego, walang like that, no? So mahiya ka naman kung if you're an employee and you don't imbibe that particular culture. Second is, I think I've mentioned this. This is what we are right now is also with the ingredient of a solid competence of the leadership or the leaders or the management team because they are enriched already of experience. I have mentioned a while ago that we have a significant amount of tenured employees. Significant means they are valuable, they are contributory to what we do. So whenever we craft programs, going now to answer your questions, where whenever we craft programs or initiatives, we look up to our I-step. Align ba siya? Meron ba siyang tatamaan doon? Meron ba siyang connect doon? Kasi kung wala, people will ask, why are we doing this? Especially the millennials, they wanted to find purpose of what they do. Why am I doing this? Why am I in this project? They have a lot of questions, Tina and Ron, non-stop of questions, and it really challenged us, those who are actually Gen X like me, because we were raised na huwag ka masyadong
Sumunod.
Yeah.
Tanong. Hindi, makikita mo yung sagot. Tanong ka ng tanong, hindi mo pa natatry eh.
Because they are raised in that kind of world already. They are curious. And I think one thing that I would like to impart, no, especially to those who are planning to attract millennial talents, na that what you need to be prepared of is nagmamadali sila, ha? Nagmamadali sila. Like gusto nila yata 2 years pa lang, gusto nila leader position na sila, manager position na sila. So tayo, Hindi, di ba? Hindi ganun
10
eh.
years
You have
tayo
to-
eh. Sila 2 years lang eh.
Correct. So, paano mo yon? So, you have to revamp your programs, you have to revamp your compensation benefit, your job leveling, and so on and so forth. So, it's really a challenging part in HR. And we undergo that. We experience that. So, kaya pag yung mga sinasabi ninyo, nakikita yung mga talents namin, nakikita nyo na lang sila na ganyan, but on the background, there's a lot of teamwork there. So it's not just HR. We have corporate communications group, we have the retail management group, we have the Mancom group. So to cut the story short, answering that question, so whenever we craft programs and all that, we ensure that it is aligned to our iStep. That's the secret to formula.
You mentioned a while ago that the founders, okay, it's not just one but 5, and they are
Yes.
friends. Now, a lot of HR managers in the Philippines are complaining. Hindi nga sa founder level, kahit sa line management pa rin. Marami daw silang boss na minsan hindi nila alam sino ang susundan nila. And this is already not in a scale of primer, but in small to medium enterprise. For lalo na sa mga small businesses, nandyan si mami, nandyan yung asawa, nandyan yung boss, nandyan yung tatay, at nandyan yung son of owner. Or even in a not so family business, there are so many pakaalameras. Hindi na nga same department nakikialam pa feeling boss kahit hindi naman boss. Now, Primer is it's well respected. How does Primer overcome this difficulty? Because kung kailangan matamaan, Primer dapat mauna. Kasi there's 5 people, all of equal stature, and they're just friends coming into business together. How do people of Primer manage their bosses? Kasi 5 sila with 5 different personalities.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, tinamaan mo, no? Tinamaan mo ng bullseye, no? Bullseye, no? In terms of the structure of matrix reporting. Correct. Very matrix, no? Very matrix of reporting dito. So, and we are already, since of course, no, lahat naman tayo tatanda, and that's the fact, no? Syempre, nagpre-prepare din sila, no, for their next generation in line.
Yon.
So, nandyan na rin sila. Nandito na rin sila, actually. But you know what the good thing is? We don't experience this difficulties dealing with these people, whether the first generation, the second generation, or other generation, because again, I would promote it again. They are well trained. They are part of our campaign to exhibit iStep. Sila din, they have to discipline themselves, 'di ba? Sila din, they have to show integrity. Sila din, they have to show teamwork. So, we admire them. We admire them for that. However, since our founders, owners, or this management is so enriched, no, with experiences. Ang dami nila experience, di ba? Their business,
correct. Yeah.
di ba? Minsan opposing
Yeah.
din yung kanilang yung kanilang
Ideas.
mga ideas. The answer is flexibility. Primer is trained on flexibility. Hindi pwedeng di kahon, no? Hindi po pwedeng it's always, it doesn't fit to all. I mean, di ba? Like that. So you cannot push that. So you have to be open. Wala na nga box eh. Sabi nila, di ba? Was that you think out of the box? Like that. Sa primer, there's no box. There's no more box. No more na. Binuwag na yon. Wala na. Wag ka nang mag-imagine ng there is box because it's giving you limitations. With the situation right now and with the enriching experience of our owners, with the experience also with the management team, wala nang box. They really get out na. I mean, you have to be speedy now. You have to be up to date. You have to be on the first line, or else may iwanan ka. Retail, may iwanan tayo, ma'am. May iwanan tayo kung mabagal ka. So we deal to them in terms of the values. We deal to them in terms of flexibility and openness in terms of whatever decision. And again, I think I mentioned this a while ago. There should be no ego, because not all the time is flowering roses in the garden. Of course, diba, may mga challenges, and sometimes you would not be getting a beautiful feedback all the time like that, diba? Especially sa HR, dinadaanan natin yan. So, I think it's more about maturity also
Okay.
in accepting feedback like that.
I have an interesting question. You've been in Primer for 11 years already. Now, Primer today has over 55 brands. When you started, how many brands were there? And paano nila nasuksok yung number of brands? Like for example, oy Vanessa, nagdagdag tayo ng isa pang brand. Like could you walk us through the journey from the time when you first started? Kasi I'm pretty sure at that time, hindi pa 55 yan. Baka 35 pa lang, or 25, or baka 10. Walk us
Grabe ka,
through.
Tina. Hindi naman ako ganun katanda sa Primer, ano? Pero just to give you a quick story about hindi mo tinanong sa akin why did I join Primer.
Oh, yun. Hirap eh. Hindi mo alam kung ano yung sensitive. Oh, sige, go.
I joined Primer because I wanted Victorinox. Just like that. Just simple as that. I don't have idea who is Primer. Just like all of you. I don't know who is that. So, ang gusto ko lang, magkaroon ng Victorinox na discounted. No? Kasi at the time, yun yung, di ba, if you wanted to have
mahal
that.
ang North Face. Maganda
Hindi
yung
kasi
employee discount.
Hindi kasi
Yeah,
ako
it's true.
outdoor. Oo. So, I want
Yeah, but it's
Victorinox. So, I want the hard case. I want that to use that on my travel. Di ba? Big time. Ganda. Di ba? So, wow. So, tapos, I joined. And then, not to, I joined with not much of preparation. And then, nung nakita ko si Primer, na ganito pala siya, I was overwhelmed. And I find myself, am I really fit? Bagay ba ako sa ganitong kumpanya? But you see, my leaders back then, the HR leaders back then, they are hard for passion for learning. They cruise me along to learn. So it's just paving forward. Now that those people who have actually joined us because they wanted North Face, meron pa rin North Face. They wanted to join us because of Colombia. They're not prepared. Pagdating nila dito, ganun pala. So we actually encourage them that this is more than a brand. This is a culture. So we find the right fit. Maraming fit maraming klaseng fit. So it's all about fit. So that's the quick background of it. Now your question is how many brands? Actually, konti lang, no? Konti lang sila at the time. If you could see the VTR right now, it's actually 150 brands, di ba? Marami nang ang brands. So iba kasi hindi lang ganon na lagi nating nakikita or lagi na-expose. So how did I deal about it? Wow, it's really a roller coaster ride because sometimes our business plans or our HR plans doesn't really, we cannot really put cast and stone to our plans. Forecast mo, manpower mo, ito lang nung una. Tapos nagdagdag ng brands kasi mas kilala, mas bebenta or something, you have to revamp it again. Right? So, yun, there's a lot of flexibility that had happened. And then siguro, tatanungin mo ako, with my journey, did I ever think about leaving Primer? Did I ever had the feeling of magre-resign na ako because ang hirap ng trabaho, very challenging, fast-paced, ganyan. I would tell you yes. Yes, I'm also human. I'm also human. But why I'm still here? I'm still here, no? I stayed here because if I will reflect,
Mm.
sabi nga nila, your suffering or your challenges is nothing compared to what you have actually contributed and the people who have actually returned it back to you. So you asked me a while ago or before, you said, am I loyal? Yes, I am loyal. But I would say not just about loyalty, it's about engage. I'm engaged. So I'm fully engaged with Primer because I believe in leadership. I believe on their culture. And I believe that Primer has its potential to grow more. To grow more. We are global. And I hope that we would be able to be present to a lot of territories. And it's so amazing to be part of a growing company and the culture that you, of course, that you live on, you believed on, and you respect also. So I hope I was able to answer that Miss Universe question, Tina.
Ato, PHRG, may nagtatanong. Last week pa yata to, sabi niya, binigyan daw siya ng boss ng mas maraming trabaho. So for example, your job before used to be A and now you were given B and C because pandemya daw or whatever reason that might be. So the question is, given that I was given more responsibilities and duties, should the boss give me more pay? More promotion, more pay, more ganyan. Now, you talked a while ago about where you started. And I'm pretty sure that the number of the growth of the company and the responsibility has grown exponentially as well. But of course, pay cannot grow exponentially. Okay? What would be your advice to mga HR na masyadong nagbibilang sa mga roles and responsibilities versus current compensation? Kasi sabihin mo, dati nung nag-start ako, ganito yung sweldo ko. Ngayon, lumaki na. Ang dami mo nang binibigay sa akin. Hindi ba dapat ang sahod ko? For every additional responsibility, dapat dagdagan mo rin yung sahod ko. Because that's what the people in PHRG was asking for. What would be your advice to mga HR managers na medyo na-overwhelm, lalo na ngayon sa pandemya, na ang dami nilang trabaho na hindi nila pinasukan nung nagsimula sila? Ah, diba? Straight to the heart.
Okay, sige. Medyo challenging yan, ano? So I would probably take it from experience para realistic, 'di ba? Realistic. Not me, but of course my
In general,
my
yeah.
in Primer. Okay. In Primer kasi we don't how would I say? In Primer, we focus our recognition in meritocracy.
Okay.
Not about responsibilities, not about duties. But of course, you would able to have that on your yearly merit increase, di ba? Meron naman siguro. Hindi yun that's not what I'm talking about. Because that thing is standard, di ba? You get a little bit, you get more or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. This is about recognizing your high-performing individuals or high-performing team. Ito ko ha, not that ha. So, what do we do? In Primer is we recognize significant contributions, value to the business. Yun ang hahanapin mo. Because you cannot give that if your business is declining. Right? So where will I going to get that particular reflection of your performance to recognize you if doesn't have output? Output-based kami. So, result-oriented kami. So, in short, entrepreneurial nga kami eh. So, our way of thinking is, what's the value? What's the result? What's your significant contribution? Because duties, responsibilities, you are paid for that, right? You have your yearly recognition. But if you wanted to go up to the corporate ladder, if you wanted more, you wanted something that you would have on your portfolio, then passion for excellence. So you go far. You go far. And another thing is siguro, with primer kasi hindi naman talaga makukwenta yung mga tao, no? Sila kasi, ang recognition kasi namin, baka may mga magtanong dyan sa ating mga viewers na, paano kung wala naman kaming masyadong budget? Yan. Paano kung ganon, di ba? Meron kaming ibang way to recognize. Kadami naming produkto, Tina.
Yun na lang! Sige,
Alam
sige.
mo, bakit namin na-retain ang mga tao namin kahit na pandemic and all that? Meron pa rin kaming mga awards kasi best TikToker, best, ano ba yun? Mga best
Live
social
seller.
selling, live seller. Those are new skills, ha? You have to recognize that. Hindi yan madali. I mean, I cannot do TikTok. I cannot do those live selling FB like that. But they can, di ba? They step up. We recognize them. Wala kaming tight ang belt namin. So we reward them with other ways.
Yan
So,
ang maganda in working for a very known brand is because the products themselves have inherent value. And if you buy from Primer group of companies, you know it is legitimate. Kasi meron sa Shopee yung Japix, right? But if galing talaga sa warehouse ng Primer, totoo talaga yan, original. And usually their products kasi are worth thousands, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So even a discount of their products, ang laki talaga ng savings. Kasi when you wear like a Jansport or like a Brat Pack or you're using a Columbia or a Backjoy, there is an inherent value talaga doon sa products na yon. So that's also one way to also retain. Oo nga, tama ka dyan. Ang gaganda kasi ng mga products mo, di ba? So,
magaganda din naman ng mga produkto mo. Gusto ko din naman magkaroon ng mga produkto mo, Tina. So, I would say I would do my TikTok just to get one pair of,
Mga
so,
gold earrings,
medyo,
ganon.
kailangan
Yeah.
lang natin maging creative of rewarding. Another thing that I want to share also with the viewers, no? During the time of pandemic, close ang store, right? Close ang
Correct.
store, wala kaming pasok dito sa headquarters and all that. So, how can we sustain lives? No? How can walang sweldo, right? Walang sweldo. So, reduce work days ka and all that. Ganyan. You know what we did? Entrepreneur spirit, right? So we open a primer community mart, something like that. They can sell their product, their personal product. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think importante din yun na yung bilis nyo na nakapag-adapt eh. I mean, diba, if during pandemic you're already giving best TikTok awards, ilang companies ang nakaisip noon na alam mo yon, yung mga ganong mga skills, bagong skills or bagong things that your employees are focusing on. Ilang companies na nakaisip na i-provide yon. Yung iba kasi usually sabihin nila hindi kasi yan kasama sa program namin, hindi yan kasama doon sa mga naka-budget for this year. Pero Primer was able to adapt to that. Okay, sige, best TikTok tayo, di ba? Not only are you rewarding your employees for being able to adapt to the situation, but your employees are, alam mo yun, in some ways also helping the company sell the products. So remain visible even during pandemic.
yeah, because of the passion for learning, Rona. Again, they are open, no? They are vibrant, they are young, dynamic, and all that. Well, even the generation later. So nag-adapt din sila. Nag-adapt din sila. And dahil nga we cannot provide salary at that time and all that, as I did mention to you, we felt that we also committed to stay updated to what's going on with their lives, diba? So we give them a channel, an opportunity to showcase their personal product to sell also and all that. We sponsor that, diba? Kasi hindi lang naman ang relationship is about, hindi nagtatapos of employer ka, employee ka. Primer culture is not like that. It's not. So we actually get into their core. That's why they feel that when they part, if they are a primer, we really care. We really care for them. So I hope that that is something also that noteworthy from the sharing to really show a genuine care to the employees, not just when they are performing, not just when you just need them. Even the time of crisis, this is the time that you need to be there, because remember the times that they were with you during the glorious days. So I'm sure they are expecting that you're gonna be there during crisis time. And we know Filipinos are mautang na loob, right? Mautang na
Yeah.
loob. So kung nandyan ka sa kanila,
We were
yeah,
talking kanina in your slide. I saw anatomy of a retail employee. And I've seen so many, just to share with our viewers, if you're not in the retail industry, the retail industry is is physically taxing for store employees. The mall hours is long. Usually it's from 10 o'clock to 10 o'clock or 10 to 11. It requires a lot of standing up. It requires you to have a lot of discipline to be in the store at all times. Kasi bad trip talaga pag may customer ka tapos walang sales staff, right? It requires you to be at work on holidays and weekends. Rest days is usually on a weekday, once a week, right? So there's not a lot of work-life balance kasi the hours really are long. You're paid well for it. There are commissions, but at the same time, there are sacrifices to be made. Given your scale of number of employees across all of your brands, what would you share with regards to employee recruitment? Kasi it's not a type of work na work from home. Alam mo yun? Super high pay at the very beginning, right? Bola power, pwede na. Dito talaga, kailangan you have to be physically present at the store. You have to work with a lot of people. You have to marunong ka makisama, culture fit, and all of that. You have to work with mall rules. Bagyo, lindol, papasok ka pa rin. Kasi when the mall is open, the store must be open. So it's not a very industry to work in. How does Primer adjust to that, given that, honestly, di ba, parang, what can you offer to the employee? Kasi it's not an easy job to do.
yeah. We are actually, actually recall a time when the Mayon volcano
Yeah.
erupted, right? Tapos sumaba yung COVID, di ba? Parang,
Tala.
yeah. So, how do we support? I think it's really about the support.
Mm,
How do we support in this demanding job? Okay.
correct.
Yeah. Um, iba-iba kasi ang needs, no? Iba-iba kasi. So, the key of supporting these people is the importance of our area leaders. Yan, you have to take care of your area leaders or your area supervisors or area managers, whatever you want to call them,
Right.
because they know the needs of the people. They are at the field. You cannot go field. You are HR. You cannot just go there, jump and get a plane to go there. You cannot video chat. You cannot see the real situation that our store was actually covered up with a lot of ashes at the time. Hindi ka makapasok sa pintuan. And then merong mga na-trap doon and all that. Who's gonna help you? Your area.
Mm,
So that's one of the key in order for us to support. The area is the one actually giving us the recommendation of how to support. So in our system, of course, we allocate some resources for emergencies in time of emergencies. Although sometimes it may come on an exception approval, but you see, going back again on the values, we have teamwork. So we really have to support. We really have to support. The bread and butter of Primer we recognize are the store people, right? So
correct.
we really give value to them. So we provide them whatever their needs. If it's a food, if it's an allowance, or if it's a grocery or whatever,
Mm,
even a load or even a relocation program
mm,
or even an assistance to the LJU. Iba-iba
mm.
kasi ang needs nila, Tina eh.
Tama.
So that's how we support.
Tama yung sinabi mo a while ago regarding area, right? Kasi retail works in, you have the sales staff, then you have the supervisors, then you have the area managers. Your area managers are very equipped with regards to handling people. which is not always the case with regular companies. 'Di ba? Kasi in many companies, it's very, what do you call it, decentralized. Sometimes ang complaint nga ng mga tao, hindi alam ng mga line managers nila kung anong ginagawa nila. 'Di ba? Parang that's the basic complaint. I don't like my boss kasi mas matalino pa ako sa boss ko. Right? It's a common complaint for many other industries, not in retail. What is your trick, or what is your, how do you handle it that your area, your store supervisors, your leadership down to the last, the lowest rank, is equipped on what to do when it comes to emergencies? Kasi ang hirap talaga turuan ang critical thinking and decision making capabilities. Totoo 'yon. Hindi lahat ng tao meron. Pero sa store mo, kasi you're in one area, head office is in Metro Manila, your stores are everywhere around the Philippines. So it's really important that your people, your sales staff, your area are equipped to handle problems that nobody will ever think about.
Yeah.
How do you guys do that?
Okay, two things. The first one is we have a very good reporting line. Our structure, no,
Mm.
our structure actually, us as an HR, no, is very effective in terms of escalating concerns, making
Mm.
decisions, fast decisions, or speedy actions. So hindi mo
Mm.
kailangan lahat headquarters. No, no, no. We empower them. Empowerment. Because we train them, di ba? Kasi
Tama.
how does it look like if in this kind of organization, to tell you we're actually 3,000 employees.
Correct.
So, ang laki, di ba? Ang laki.
Tama.
So, we need to have an effective structure that will promote speedy way in terms of decisions, concerns, actions. That's the first success.
Mm.
Second one is we involve them on our BCP programs.
Okay.
Yeah, we equip them. We provide them with the tools. We provide them with the knowledge. Kasi okay, you have reporting, you have a good structure, you have reporting, you escalate. How does it look like kung escalate na lang ng escalate, di ba? Di naman sa taas yung nahirapan, di ba? Hindi. So, you have to, you have to
Galingan.
skills. Oo. So, we involve them on the BCP programs at their own specific levels in terms of the expectation, responsibilities, so that whenever this economy crisis, delubyo or force majeure and all that, they know what to do. So, our business continuity plan is something that we realize that really important. So, yun yung dalawa siguro ma-impart ko in a type of industry like us, di ba?
And knowing that, kasi ang Pinoy, mga marites, di ba? Maraming chismosa, passive-aggressive, pag nagre-reklamo, hindi magre-reklamo sa line manager, magre-reklamo sa asawa at sa buong kapitbahay. There's a lot of politicking that happens in Filipino companies because we're very social, mahilig tayo mag-socialize. Relationship-based talaga ang interactions ng isang Filipino employee. With that many people inside the group, how does management prevent that scale of politicking expected in a huge group of Filipino employees? Diba? Kasi sigurado, when you think of it, may power play, palakasan, politicking. But actually, to be fair, walang masyado sa inyo. How do you guys prevent that?
We don't entertain. We portray certain type of professionalism kasi hindi mo maiwasan, especially if a newcomer. Kuwari, newcomer. Tapos, di ba, sanay lahat sa culture na hindi ma-share. I would say ma-share. Kasi, in primer kasi medyo maingat kami dun sa sometimes the way we use languages dito, no? We're very trained. So, yung power of paraphrasing namin, lalo sa HR, so strong. Let's say, just like you told me about, I understand the new lingo about Marites, right?
Yeah,
but kung sinabi mo na yan sa akin, kung may magkwento sa akin, ipoportray ko na yan, I would say, ma-share. Mahilig mag-share. Ayan, sa ganun. Kasi, we're very particular. We're very trained. Now, answering to your question, Very simple. We show professionalism by not entertaining this negative vibes, no, in the store.
Mm.
Kasi the moment you entertain that, it creates already a chain of chain
Operational
of
disturbance.
reaction. Yes, yes. And people in primer are very afraid in terms of um that you will be branded as someone that who started negative reactions like this. Takot kami sa ganyan. So we don't want to be quoted. So the best thing is prevention, wag patulan, at wag ka nang sumali. Kung nagkwentuhan sila, di matapos na yan sa kanila. Yon. So in our code of conduct also, we emphasize that we don't sponsor or we don't encourage this type of behavior. So if of course there are some situations in the past na meron kami mga na-experience na ganyan, quickly wina-one-on-one namin. Hindi pwede. Hindi pwede. Kasi mag-uumpisa siya eh. Mag-uumpisa siya ng that very negative feeling, negative behavior is
Correct.
very contagious.
And similar to that, kasi primer is, what do you call it? Gender discrimination kasi sa primer eh. Males and females alike spending a lot of time in the store. How do you prevent possible romances? Kasi syempre, close contact in a store, lots of respectable, good-looking people. How does the management control that? Kasi syempre, dapat talaga professional at all times. Pampagulo yung mga ganyan. But how do you prevent, given that yung mga tao sa primer, medyo gwapo at saka gwapa? Totoo yun.
Actually, the answer is there already in the core values. It's actually discipline. You have to discipline yourself in the workplace. Although we have some policies and procedures that prevents or like for example, hindi sila dapat magkasama and all that. But you see,
Hindi ka
in
sa,
primer,
oo, may asawa.
yeah, you see in primer, we have a lot of married
Correct.
individuals na kasama nila dito sa amin. Pwede naman. In fact, this is a family.
Correct.
Yeah, as long as, number one, you have to follow the rules and regulations that is in the company rules and regulations. And number two, it doesn't affect your performance, your output, or your result. Kasi kung yun na lang ang gagawin nyo maghapon sa tindahan, paano naman tayo bebenta, no? So, hindi naman pwede yon. So, whenever we discover things like that, we sit down also to them just to remind them na it's okay, wala namang problema, pero you should know your limitations, ha? Because the moment it affects the organization or the company image or your performance, we will be meeting again.
Bawal pumatol sa mga may asawa, sana. Kasi kung hindi, may problema tayo doon sa pagdating sa company code. Okay. Pero with
Yes.
regards to now, how is everything? Do you guys have any insight kahit na papaano with regards to next year? Kasi we're now at alert level 2 to 1. At medyo controversial. Paano po yung stance niyo with regards to November 29, 30, and December 1? And the upcoming rule nga ng December 1, bawal na po pumasok yata sa mall. Sa mall, ang mga taong hindi bakunahan. How would you handle that? Kasi we're both in the retail industry. So we know the malls have already issued some memos. How do you handle issues na meron ka pang a little bit of tao na ayaw siguro mabakuna? Do you have
Sa
that
store
problem?
kasi namin, wala kaming masyadong malaking issue on vaccination. Kasi from the last report that I saw, we're pretty much finished and complete already for the vaccination. We only encounter some questions or concerns for those groups who have some religious
Yes, correct.
concerns, yon yung mga ganon, no? So, We actually have it reviewed already by our legal. So that's the situation right now. So we seek legal advice on how to deal about these things. And we postponed our release for an earlier memo for this. But I'm sure must be in time before the December 1 implementation. But for the
Mm-mm.
store, we're pretty covered. We're pretty covered. So because we really have to align and we make them understand that it's really not us. It's really not us. It's not the company. It's actually our malls. Right?
Yes.
Tenant lang naman tayo doon, Tina. So we have to
Yes.
follow, right? So it's not us. So kung ayaw mo, wala akong magagawa, 'di ba? Kasi it's not about primer who is actually preventing you. It's our landlord.
Correct.
It's the
Yeah.
landlord. So they understand that.
Mm. So we're almost at the time. Shall we do any last words? Ma'am Vanessa, would you have to share with us last words? And also how to contact you and if you have any job openings at Primer, lalo na sa HR department? Hmm?
Sa HR department, yes, yes, of course, because we are forecasting an expansion by next year because we're gonna be opening up a lot of businesses, especially on the travel, di ba? Babalik na, no? Sana, no? Kasi yan ang pinakamalaki din naming percentage of the business in terms of the category. So you may contact me, of course, on my Facebook. So my Facebook name is Vanessa Romero. Di ko kasi nilalagay kasi yung aking surname, family surname. Kasi sa 3,000 empleyado, kadaming nagpapa-add ng friends, di ba? So, minsan di ko na sila kilala. So, you can contact me there or they can contact me via email also, Tina. So, there's no issue for availability. So, anytime naman, if someone who would like to consult or something.
Any last words to our viewers with regards to your topic?
Okay, any last words? Being an effective HR in this industry would entail not just skills or competence, because that can be learned. That can be learned. What important is, and what I have learned with Primer for being with them for quite some time already, is about preserving your values. Preserving your values, because if your values is aligned to the company that you choose, you will stay longer. You would stay longer because you believe in leadership, you believe on the culture, you believe on everything. So find find a company, for those, for example, who haven't really find a company that hindi pa sila sure, hindi pa sila ganun ka-sure. Find where your heart is in terms of values. Kasi you cannot go wrong. You cannot really go wrong with your values. At the end of the day, it's not about money. It's not about promotion. It's not about position. It's about what can you say about anong nagawa mo? Anong nagawa mo nung time na nandoon ka? And I think that's legacy for us. HR is just a small group, 'di ba? It's just a small group. So maliit lang na grupo 'yan na magkakakilala kayo sooner or later. You cannot burn bridges for that. So I think that's the last words that I would be able to share. So stick to your values, and then find where that passion is, and a company that would also enrich pa or improve pa that values, so that you become a better person from your yesterday. I think that's the last. Become the better person from your yesterday.
Sa akin. And then after that, si Rona will close the show. For me, people forget that an HR manager is a strategic partner. So when you are an HR in a company, you have to ask yourself, what type of culture are we building in this company? Okay, what type of culture are we building in this company? I think after listening to Ma'am Vanessa talk about Primer, I think a lot of us HR should build our company culture the same way that Primer builds its culture. What's the culture of Primer? It is a culture of meritocracy. Meritocracy. Nagsimula si Ma'am Vanessa sa a while ago on the types of quality that they're looking for in an employee. So they started with that. Recruiting the correct type of employees into your company is already step one in building a very strong and solid company culture. If the person does not embody the qualities that you would want in your corporation, don't hire them. And if you made a mistake in hiring that person, even if the person's not a good fit, get rid of them before they become regularized because you do have the right to do so. Retail is not a very good, it's not a very easy industry to be in and to stay in and to grow in and to be successful in. It requires a very specific type of person to flourish in such competitive open office retail environment that is based on meritocracy. If you are good, you will do very well. If you cannot handle it, you have mental issues, you feel it's very stressful, there's no work life balance, get out of it before tumagal ka palalo because the industry will not change for you. The company will not change for you. Either you join everybody else in their journey to success, or you leave that company and find another company better suited to your taste and your type of work environment that you want to be with. And because of such qualities that you are asking for in your employees, Primer is able to choose employees who want to be inside their company. Hindi pinipilit ang trabaho. Etong mga tao gusto talaga magtrabaho sa Primer. Kasi pag nandun sa Primer, marami silang kasama na katulad nila. The closest example I'm gonna give is in when you're in college. Natatandaan man natin, we have group works, right? Group yourself into five. And usually when the teacher groups you, there is always somebody who is a freeloader. Yung tipong siya na nga ang magpiprint, ayaw pa magprint. Right? Sasabihin niya, hindi. Tatawagan mo sa meeting, hindi sisipot. Pag sumipot, hindi naman binasa yung assignment. Pag tinanong mo, ano-ano naman sinasabi. Alam mo, hindi nag-aral. It is very important if you want to build a very good group to actually get rid of freeloaders. You do have a choice as an HR. You can choose on how you recruit the right type of talents for your companies. Start from there. And then after that, train them, take care of them, give them growth opportunities, reward them, okay? And make sure you never lose them. Kasi ang hirap talaga maghanap ng maayos na tao sa Pilipinas, lalong-lalo na sa retail because they're handling cash and products on a daily basis. Trust and integrity is really important. And so, when you actually get these people, I am not surprised that Primer did not retrench most of its employees, even though it's very tempting for many companies to do so. A lot of companies are waiting for this type of pandemic to cut headcount, to get rid of the most experienced people kasi silang pinakamabigat, pinakamareklamo, pinakamataas ang sahod at pinakawalang output. Totoo yun. But in Primer, it is the opposite. It is actually the senior, most experienced people in the firm who carry the load of everybody else and keeps the system and the culture flowing, which makes it very easy for the founders to keep everyone and to pay everyone because you know the amount of love, care, and money that you give to these experienced employees are worth every penny. And when you lose one, it feels as if you've lost an arm and a leg. Kasi talaga, pag umalis yung isa, ang hirap talaga palitan. Sobrang hirap talaga palitan. Now, I'm not surprised. I'm very thankful that Miss Vanessa is here. Pero totoo lang, kung umalis si Vanessa sa Primer, I'm 1,000% sure she can easily find a job anywhere else. Probably at higher pay. Hindi, probably at higher pay. Just imagine the type of company you have and the type of managers you have. It's not just Miss Vanessa, it's all the people in the head office. You know who you are, right? Who are experienced and capable and know when you leave, another retail or another company will snap you up, right? So sa akin, It's the job of the company and everybody else to keep the talents in house, to keep, kasi if you get one person and one good person in a company, sobrang successful. When you get 10, you become even more successful. When you get hundreds, that's how you make a a locally run global company with 50 over brands, 3,000 people in a pandemic, and they're still alive. All right. So I think it's very critical for us to use primer. I think there's a lot of learnings here. I know Miss Vanessa didn't really give us the proprietary information, pero if you listen between the lines and you re-listen to this webinar, you will see talaga why are they able to retain talents, and why, if you join primer, why do management struggle to keep talents despite the pandemic? Because pandemics will come and go. We are now at less than 1,000 COVID 19 cases. 2020 is looking to be rosier. And if you didn't treat your people well, if you didn't take care of them during the pandemic, paano ka na pagka 2022? Ang hirap maghanap ng maayos na tao. Okay? Madaling mag-hire. Pero ang hirap talaga mag-keep ng maayos na tao. And if you don't treat your people well, then they will look for other jobs who will. And there are so many jobs out there, like Primer, who will hire those who are
Yes, we
looking
will
for
hire
jobs.
you. We will hire you.
Basta may I-step, diba? Basta may
Basta may
I-step.
I-step, we will hire you. Tina also, no, for any, I mean, above all of the things that I have said, no, another important that I could not, what will say, should not forget, staying with Primer and probably, valuable to them is because also I am personally mentored by significant people here in Primer. They know who they are. If they watch this recording, you know, guys, who you are. I owe you my 11 years of experience, and I would not be in this better position now without their guidance, without their coaching. Of course, I have low moments too, Tina. I also cried a lot. No, I also cried a lot, and I feel that the world is also on my shoulder. But you see, there is teamwork. Someone show to you
Yeah,
na meron din palang pwedeng bumuhat nung
correct.
konting bigat ng dinadala mo. Okay? So, I would like to give credits also to those people who have give their time and effort, no? Kasi mga business-minded sila, but here they are counseling you. Here they are guiding you because they wanted also for you to stay. So, thank you for that konting time to for me to express that gratitude also, Tina.
Rona, last words?
Gusto kong gamitin yung example na sinabi mo kanina Tinan about yung sa mga nung college tayo, di ba, pag group projects, you have your freeloaders. But if you would also notice, pag sinabi ng teacher, find your group mates, may project tayo, there is always one or two people na lahat gusto doon pumunta. Okay? And that is what primer is. Parang lahat gusto po doon pumunta. It might not be primer itself. There are a lot of companies who are like primer. But you would know all of these companies na you would want to be part of that company. And I think the reason for this is the strength of the HR and the strength of the management team. When I say strength of the HR and strength of the management team, if kayo ay nanood from the start up to this point, one of the things that, many things that you would notice is number one, Vanessa right now, whenever she speaks about primer, she's very proud of it. That's number one. That's number one. If the HR and the management themselves are not proud to be part of the company they represent, that's a problem. You cannot require from people what you do not have. Lagi ko sinasabi yan. So if as an HR, ikaw din mismo ay hindi mo maintindihan at nabubuisit ka rin sa company mo, how are you going to engage the employees? That's number one. Number two, Vanessa started 10 years ago with Primer, but if you would ask her about the business, she understands all aspects of the business. The history, who are the people involved, the operations, the brands, everything. Business acumen. That's one thing that HR professionals would need to have. You cannot engage people if you do not understand what the business is all about. So that's another thing that you have to keep in mind. Gratitude. Just now, Vanessa said that she would not be here if not for the people who mentored her. HR professionals, management as well, should always have this sense of gratitude for the people who are working for them and the people who are working with them to develop them into better people. And then lastly, the alignment of the values. If your values are not aligned with the values that the company you're working for represents, ang hirap. 'Di ba? You don't care about learning, pero the company that you're working with is heavily invested on learning. You don't have the entrepreneurial spirit, but the company you're working for is heavily invested in entrepreneurship. Paano mo ipopromote yun if you do not believe in those values? So that's also very important. So yun yung sinasabi nating strength of the management team and strength of the HR themselves. Tayo as HR, we are part of management team, we work with managers. How we handle all of this shows our strength. Sabi nga ni Tina kanina, we'll have a lot of these problems. Itong inabutan natin na pandemic right now, it can happen in the future. There can be a repeat of this. We won't know. Or we might have a different kind of problem in the future that will really significantly change how business is being done. That can happen. But our strength as HR should always be there. The understanding of what the business is all about, the understanding of ourselves, and how we align with the core values of the company. Our ability to discipline ourselves, our ability to work in structures, create structures when there is none. Think like there's no box. Yan yung mga strength natin, that the strength that we need to work on. It's not something that happens overnight. And it's not something that will consistently be there na palagi kang strong. I'm a strong HR, hindi. Sabi nga ni Vanessa, di ba, may mga times din naiiyak ka. May mga times din na gusto mo na mag-resign. That's perfectly normal. But what you do with what you feel, that's your strength as an HR, as part of the management. Okay? Diyan po nagtatapos sa isa na naman pong napakagandang linggo. Ang ganda ng ating usapan ngayon. Sobrang tuwa ako sa primer. Napakaganda ng ating naging discussion. Sabi ko nga dun sa aming group chat, nakakaaliw what primer has accomplished so far. I know there are a lot of companies that have also done the same thing. We may not be aware of them, but I believe there are also other companies. The other day we had nakalimutan ko na naman, si Piandre. We also had that the other day. Ito yung mga companies na talaga naaliw tayo because yung mga taong nagpapalakad ng business and the people who are supporting the management, the HR supporting the management, they have shown strength of character, they have shown strength in their skills, at nakakaaliw itong mga ganitong mga talakayan. So kayo po mga ka-HR namin, naku po, we would expect you next Sunday para sa isa na naman pong character building na usapan dito po sa HR Cafe. Pero for now, we would like to thank everyone for staying with us, and we do hope that you get something from our discussion for today. Again, if you would like to reach out to Miss Vanessa, you can find her in Facebook. At pwede rin po kayong mag-reach out dito sa amin sa HR Cafe and the Philippines HR Group, and we will try to connect you with her. Hanggang dito po muli. We will see you next Sunday. We hope you have a great Sunday. Isa na naman pong work week ang nag-aantay sa atin. So we need all the energy. We hope that you keep safe. Kung hindi kinakailangan lumabas, wag na po kayong lumabas. But please make sure that you enjoy the rest of the day. At we hope to see you para po sa susunod na linggo na isa na naman pong episode ng HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay at Iba Pa. Hanggang sa muli po. Bye everyone!
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Thank you po. Salamat.